use.
Chat has declared
voiceover.
a designated roller for the players for the first 10 minutes of gameplay. And
Wow.
because of that, Trevor, I hope you got your dice hands warmed up because you're going to be doing a lot of rolling. As we start this
Or
combat.
mouse clicking fingers.
Or something. You're going to be doing a lot of something.
It'll be mouse clicking.
So anyway, we'll be
My
back in a
German
sec.
name is Dice Hans.
Sinir, Granteus, Cotex, Awara. Long ago, the four ancients created a world in harmony. Then, everything changed when the chat emped magic. Only Kelnor, master of good vibes, could stop them, but when the world needed him most, he vanished. 2 years have passed, and four adventurers have discovered a conspiracy, a company selling magic. And although their roleplay is great, they have a lot of XP to earn before they're ready to save anyone. But I believe they can save the...
On? Alright. Ayo!
Four guys, ventures, and vibes.
Welcome back to the table in the tavern. It's some of our players. Let's introduce ourselves.
Oh, I don't see the thing, so I normally go by the order in the thing, but maybe I'll just go first right now.
That's fine.
Hi, it's me, Jake. I play Gunner, I never used to say Gunner first. This feels weird. I play Gunner, the Hemetetian rogue demolition expert, and I also play Owlin, the Azamar Storm Herald barbarian and artillerist artificer. Yeah, for some reason I said the subclasses.
Hello, I am Trevor. I play Zopf Kit O'Reilly, the fairy Oatling. Wheatling.
Oh.
Not
Wheatling.
Oatling. Yes, Wheatling, who is a warlock. And I also play Bruiser, the Winged Badger Inquisitive Rogue.
Hey, I'm Wash, and I'm trying to get my stash to grow sideways. And it's so if you see me fiddling with it tonight, that's what's going on. But I am the official 100% homegrown, organic, self-made voice actor of three characters: A1, Jebediah Peppermint, the Bullfolk gun wizard who spits fire and inspires spit; Radford, the white dragonborn monk, the man who makes shoes and kicks.
Oh no.
Your mic just cut out in the middle of it. Radford
Oh, no!
was oh, it's back. That was weird.
And I'm back. And I also play FP62, our wonderful little childlike wonder murder bot.
Hi, I am Will-o'-the-Wisp, and I play Clara Albuquerque, our quirky, fast-talking, gossip-mongering fairy dragon.
I present to the group that perhaps we should add a class to D&D that is Bakerbarian. I think that would be a good D&D class.
Bakerbarian, I like
I
it.
accept that
Barbakian?
nomination.
Barbakian, that's good. I'm Josh, the Wing Badger Game Master. I play almost everybody else. However, there is one person who's not here with us, and I think to celebrate, since the players will be taking over as that person's character, everyone should introduce themselves as our missing player at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1, all at once.
Hi, I'm
Hello,
Fox,
everybody.
and
I
I'm
am
traumatized
Cleo,
from
and I
I'm
play
missing
Fox,
a
the
Characters
rogue
that are
changeling.
there's some characters
And,
here, and they
I'm
are
really
both
excited to not
characters,
die.
and they really are.
And I'm going to do really well.
This is the best thing we've ever done. That's the cold open. There, you were like, Jake's was like, oh, it's weird not doing a cold open. There it is.
There you go.
That's
The
a
cold
clip.
close.
Cold clothes. And indeed, everyone's clothes probably are cold because they are in a big cave city. For any of you who were not with us in the past when we began this fight, we are on the highest tier of a tiered city that is built entirely within a massive cavern called Gaim. And at the top of that city, with their airship anchored to a big old walkway and the big skylight type openings through which they would like to escape being attacked by invaders and enemies and bad folk, we find most of our heroes trying to protect their ship, the Cugboat, and hold their ground, basically, until the rest of our heroes can join them, because a bunch of our adventurers are actually stuck in a verticulator making the large 1,200-foot climb. And I think it's important to notice, because it wasn't quite discussed last time that the situation we find ourselves in is one in which, for the last half of this vertical trip, we have crammed 6 size category medium people, a size category large wolf, and a bunch of pieces of a machine that, when laid down on the floor, is the full surface area of an underground bunker, all into one 20 square foot verticulator. And the natural and only conclusion from that is that in order to even get the doors to close, we have to damage it. And so the doors are kind of like jutting open a little bit, and bits of machinery are sticking out the front, and it's kind of swaying weird as it's climbing vertically. It's moving really slowly. This thing is very heavily loaded. The winch is working overtime, trying to get everything moving here. And so it's probably going to be a good amount of time before you make it to the top of the verticulator and rejoin the fight. Now that's a problem, because up there on the top tier, we have also discovered that some of the invaders, some of the mooks, if you will, the soldiers of the besieging army, are actually attempting to cut the chain that anchors that verticulator to the ceiling of this cavern. And they're a pretty good distance away from the SS Happy Orc, otherwise known as the Cugboat. And that is definitely going to cause some problems for our intrepid adventuring party here as they try to figure out what to do. Now, chat has done 3 things that affect gameplay that will begin when the first turn of initiative order starts. For the next 10 minutes, Trevor's making all the rolls on behalf of the players. For the next 10 minutes, all damage is doubled for everybody, friend and foe, which is the thing that almost killed Alan last session.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Although I guess Alan's got a little while before he's in the fight here.
Although if elevator fall or verticulator fall damage is doubled, then Alan, I think, may be permadead. We'll see.
We talked in recent history about an alternative to a short rest that comes with a cost called... I don't remember what it's called, but you have the write-up somewhere in Discord, and if you want to use that, you can.
It's called a lunch break.
It's a way to spend your hit dice, basically, and get some HP back. It's a critical role variant rule that is pretty good. So feel free to use that if you need to. You just have to find it and remember what it's called.
Okay.
Other than that, we're going to enter initiative order with, played by the party, Riley Kit O'Leary.
And who plays Riley Kit O'Leary today?
The party, as I just said.
Oh, the whole party.
Yes, you are all
The
in charge
whole
of deciding
party.
what Cleo's
I was too busy
characters will do.
googling. I was too busy googling this short last alternative.
No worries.
Well, let me. What do you guys think? I say as I fill words as I
feel
figure out where
like
Riley
I
is.
recall Riley was a really good lookout. So perhaps she should try to perceive and get some insight into who is coming down from the sky and attacking us. I seem to remember there are dragons out there.
That's a
There are
great
dragons
idea.
far above you outside the cavern fighting. From time to time, you hear them roaring at each other.
There
That's a
be
good idea.
dragons.
So maybe she could call out some of the incoming attacks.
That sounds great.
Yep.
Where would you like to position her, or keep her right in the nest of the airship?
Keep her in the nest.
Yeah, I think that sounds perfect.
Cool. Go ahead, Trevor, and tell us who's next and who's on deck.
Does she need to roll anything?
Sure. Let's have her roll a perception, just like an overarching perception.
Alrighty.
Let's see how this lookout goes.
That is a 17 on the die, and I have to look up her perception score. She's not proficient, and her wisdom mod is +4, so 21.
21. Nice. Okay. Well, with a 21 perception, there are a couple new threats that Riley is able to notice directly above you all. At the ceiling of the cavern, there are another group of soldiers who are kind of rappelling down through the opening in the ceiling and are on their way down to engage you in singular combat, as it were.
That's no good.
Yeah.
Why would they really? Why?
Because they're mean, I guess. I
Oh,
don't know.
dang it.
Yeah. Trevor, you gotta keep the turns moving.
Okay.
Initiative
Next
man.
next is Barry. I don't know which one because they're not numbered.
Oh, I guess when I copied all the berries to make new berries,
That's it's a bushel.
Yeah, it's a bushel of berries. A bushel of berries. Perfect. I'll just do them en masse here. So we'll start with the 3 berries who are up above the Cug boat there. They're going to move 5, 10, 15, 20 feet to get over top of the nest. And then they're going to use some ranged attacks.
Oh,
In
dear.
fact, you may find, if you're not careful, that you have some dangerous things landing on you. They're going to start by attacking Mockery. Actually, Trevor, roll me 3d6.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, d20. Roll 3d20. Let's just roll their attacks. And they'll attack each of you once. So that's an attack on Mockery and the 2 Wheatlings.
That is a 3 and 2 15s.
A 3 and 2 15s. Great. So the 2 15s, I'm assuming, are going to hit, right? That would be an 18 on the die for each of them attacking you. That's the twins, Zopf and Riley.
Attacking. Are they just attacking Riley, or
They're attacking Zopf and Riley. 118 is attacking each of them.
Riley's AC is 15, and my AC is also 15.
Okay. So both of you get hit. Let me see what we need to roll for their damage.
Could someone else manage Riley's sheet?
That will be...
Where was Riley's sheet sent?
It's in the
chat.
HQ.
Okay, 11 points of fire damage. We don't need to roll. We'll just take the average damage. 11 points of fire damage to Zopf and Riley. Their poor little wheatling selves getting hit by, like the rifles of Ice Shard, except these ones shoot little bolts of fire out of them that are coming down towards you. Little scorch marks singe with kind of like a sizzling sound into the floor of the lookout nest of the Cug boat. And that concludes the berries' turn.
I will manage Riley's sheet.
Okay, so that's that was 3 berries, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 more.
No, there's a Barry, a Bart, a Bob, and a Brutus. In the initiative order, we just did them all as one, so you can skip the berries.
Okay. Then it would be Zop's turn. Let me check that.
This is the Trevor show for the middle of initiative here.
I know, right? That is... Oh, okay, so they're pretty close to us. 35. Okay, so Zop will... Let me switch back. He is going to Eldritch Blast the berry that is in front, or closest to him.
Okay. Zopf is going to go after... Sorry, someone is changing the names on our battle map to like just random pronunciations of berry. Okay. Is that a save for them or a roll to hit for Zopf?
That is a roll to hit, so I'm going to roll. Will a non-natural 20 hit?
A non-natural 20 will hit.
Okay, and that's going to be 13 damage.
13 damage. We're
Do
going
you need
to
the type?
We're going to put the damage they've taken right after their name.
Okay.
So we can just watch total cumulative damage that way. By the way, any of you can rename a token by double-clicking on it, so you can all add into the damage there. But okay, so is that all that Zop is doing, or is he moving?
He's gonna he's gonna stay there.
Is he gonna yell anything?
Leave us alone. Sorry, leave us alone.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Zop's voice.
Nice shot, brother.
Next we have Clara.
Great.
Clara is very focused, maintaining the dancing lights, but is looking around trying to see what's coming and looking for some kind of insight. Radford, you see anything coming? You know where you want some lights? What am I supposed to be doing here?
Radford, you can barely hear her. She's very far away. That is 110 feet away that you're yelling.
I think she's upset. We might need to go save her.
I will start flying in his direction and maintain the lights where they are.
Okay. Great. That concludes Clara's turn. Trevor, who's up next?
Yeah,
Bob.
Bob. Okay. Bob is one of the saboteurs, so to speak, going after the chain that is suspending the verticulator. Owlin and company are in there like all squished up like sardines, probably talking about something. At some point, Jake, I'm going to ask you what they're talking about.
Okay.
But we won't cut to that conversation quite yet, but it has comedic potential. So they're going to work on their sabotage, which means they're going to need to roll a d20.
Right. Sorry. Forgot I was rolling.
No worries.
Natural 1.
Natural 1. Okay. They do not have a lot of success down there trying to make any headway on it. And in fact, the machine that they're using jams a little bit down there at the base. So standing on the gondola, basically, or the pendant down there, the machine that they're using is just it seems to, it kind of emits a loud puff of smoke and kind of grinds to a halt. And that end of the equation seems to not be functioning very well at the moment. Next to Bob is Brutus, the other kind of mook who is down there, and Brutus kind of swears at him. You always try to, and he just like pulls out a manual and sits down next to it, cross-legged. Okay, so if we do this and then that, go ahead and roll me a d20 for him to make a sleight of hand check to try and get it working again.
Okay.
Try and fix this, and I think if we just unplug and plug it back in again, it's powered by Winkledown.
That
So
is
what
an
does that
8.
mean? He's like, well, let's try it, and he just rips out a hotline, and then he puts it back in again, and it does not come back to life. You're pretty sure it's going to be out of commission for at least the next 6 to 10 seconds, something like that. And that brings us into the cockpit where Bruiser and probably relaying through the comms to like a frantic B Street are trying to get through their pre-flight checklist so that when Alan and company arrive, they're ready to go. Bruiser, why don't you roll me a vehicle check? I think we used maybe survival for that, or maybe a different skill, whatever it was. Oh, vehicle maintenance kit or whatever. Roll a check. Justify his
natural
skill.
20.
Natural 20.
Wow.
As those of you standing on deck kind of feel a little bit of a shudder and a as kind of the power systems begin kicking into gear and getting warmed up and ready to roll. Bruiser, who is very accustomed to starting with a burnout at the beginning of his Minecraft races, knows how to get an engine warmed up very quickly and effectively. The thrusters begin kind of juddering on the side of the airship as they get ready to begin the liftoff process or the full strength propulsion. And that brings us back to the top of initiative order and a quick word picture for everybody. As we sit here on the 10th tier of Gaim, the lights are very dim. There's the candle light kind of scattered or spread along the open deck at the top of the tugboat. There are 4 dancing lights that are not quite bright enough to connect to each other, so there's just these points of brilliant illumination kind of spread across the length of the tugboat, trying to evenly fill in the gaps where the lanterns are not. We know that there's a shadow creature standing on one of the stabilizing fins of your airship. However, because Willa has pinned it, because Clara has pinned it in place with that light, it can't teleport away. The other thing that we know is that far from the airship itself, there's that pendant, that central town square area of this tier of Gaim, and that building has a huge steel cable suspending it to the ceiling, and there are still 2 mooks at the top and 2 mooks at the bottom with large machines that have been kind of anchored in place, working on severing that cable and beginning the process of toppling Gaim from above. Outside, you can hear the distant roars of dragons, the whoosh of wings, the sound of mountain wind kind of howling around at the top of the mountain range. But inside, it's mostly echoey and at this point mostly quiet, except for the sounds of your own combat and the combat of those you're fighting. the civilians are all pretty much cowering inside or behind barricades or have evacuated into different buildings and things like that. And so we find ourselves at the top of initiative order, which is
FP62.
FP62. What are we doing?
All right. I think he's going to trust Mockery, Zopf, and Riley to be able to take care of those 3 above them. Right now, the important thing is to get the machine, to make sure that the machine gets safely to the ship. So he's going to shoot Brutus. He's going to use steady aim since he didn't move last turn,
Okay.
which is going to give him advantage, but it's so far away, he's going to have disadvantage on it, so it's going to wash
I'm
out.
not confident he has line of sight to Brutus. Brutus is on the ground there, or on the lower level there.
Am I rolling for this?
I think the airship's in the way. And yes, you are, but this is the last of our 10 minutes.
Oh, you're right. He would have to move to the other side of the ship.
Yeah.
Um,
He can attack Bart
Dang
and
it.
Barry up on the ceiling there.
yeah. Oh, well. Oh, that's
We'll change this Barry's
That's
name.
true. No, you're good. You're good. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that works out.
Great.
He's going to shoot Barometer or Barry Meter.
Is it still at disadvantage?
Barry
Son
Meter,
of
he
Joey
hardly
Meter.
Barry knows her.
Aha, true.
That is a 25 to hit,
A 25 is enough.
and he is going to do dice. Dang, not a lot. 12 points of piercing damage.
Okay, 12 points of piercing damage. Gunshot whizzes across through the air, and FP, having steadied his aim, probably bracing himself on the wood railing of the cookboat's deck. Bruiser is so impressively getting the ship up and running that there's not even any jitter to like throw off FP's aim, and so he's able to get the perfect shot, and it just kind of lances over there and hits Barometer in the shoulder as he's kind of tending to his machine. He does not even turn and acknowledge you. He continues what he is doing.
Oof.
Mockery's turn is next, and Mockery is going to let's see what the distance is here. Mockery would need a 30 on the die with her athletics check. She has a +6. She's going to jump and attack them, like with melee. We're going to roll that.
She's going to jump all the way up there.
She's going to try. She needs a 30 to make the jump. She's going
You
to
say
crouch.
30 on the die? Or
She needs a
just like
30 as her roll. She has a plus. I guess with a +6, she can't get one, can she?
No,
so
that's
with a
impossible.
10, yeah, she jumps up in the air but can't jump quite high enough. She
Well, if
lands
she gets
back
an at 20, maybe. But
I guess maybe, yeah. She jumps in the air but doesn't make the jump. She crouches and kind of like lands dexterously enough that she doesn't hurt herself. But she just
Jump
kinda-
higher.
We've got to find some way to get them. You two can fly. Why am I the one attacking them on the ceiling? And then she kind of, turns around back to the ladder and goes, I can protect this. You two go up and fight them. And that concludes her turn and brings us to Bart. Bart is one of our saboteurs. Bart's up there on the ceiling, and this machine is still running in working order. They are set in and have had some time to ensconce themselves. They're going to roll to see if they can get anything happening here. And unfortunately, even with advantage, the machine doesn't break, but the chain, these are steel cables that are meant to suspend like a city hall. These are big,
Yeah.
thick, strong steel chains. And just because you brought the right tool doesn't mean that like their master craftsmanship is going to fail under an onslaught like that. And so although you can hear and even see the little sparks illuminating the night distance, or the dark distance, I guess, little sparks kind of falling off, and they just begin trickling and floating down. You hear the bzzz echoing around the cavern kind of deafeningly. They do not seem to be making any headway. Not that you could really tell very much from here. And that concludes Bart's turn and brings us back to our shadow creature, who is on the stabilizing fin here. Trevor, did you note down how much damage this creature took in the last game? Because I think it has some hit points of damage.
Let me pull it up.
I'm
Let me
pretty
see.
sure Radford hit him a couple times.
I will check. Shadow took 29 points of damage.
29 points of damage. Okay, great.
Yeah, he did.
There's that shadow creature with its 29 points of damage. It is going to, it's only 10 feet to get to the top there, and it has a high enough mod that that's not actually a roll. So it's going to jump to the railing of the deck here and cross over, and it's going to immediately do some attacking. As it lands on the deck here, the first thing it's going to do is throw a dagger. So it kind of flips over the railing and then whips a dagger out of its belt and just throws it towards FP62. FP62, what's your AC?
16.
16.
What did he get though? What did he get though?
Yep, I'm looking. Let's see here. That's a 12. So he does. It's not enough to hit. So he throws a dagger, but FP is able to kind of dodge out of the way. He's going to then use another 20 feet of movement, 5, 10, 15. Actually, he's only going to use 15 feet of movement to get close enough that he can engage FP62 with his chain. And he's going to throw that spiked chain out and try to basically grapple FP62 with it. So here comes another attack. That is a 16 to hit.
Jeb is going to reach out with the blunderbuss and rewind time and do a chronal shift and force him to re-roll it.
Some chromatic aberration surrounds the situation as the chain flies towards FP, giving FP a split second's chance to dodge again. Here's the new attack. The new attack is a natural 1.
Nice.
Easily dodges out of the way and is able to get an opportunity attack without spending a reaction if he would like, because of the extra time basically that's been compressed into this scenario.
Yeah, he's going to just almost methodically like twist his torso around. You can kind of hear the machinations inside of him go jick, 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 and he's just going to point blank fire directly at him.
Okay.
That was my D12. That is a 16 to hit.
That is a 16 to hit. 16 does not hit. FP comes around, gets point blank with his weapon and fires, and you're not sure if the shadow creature dodged or if some of it kind of poofed into vapor or what exactly happened. But FP felt like the shot was lined up and then it just did not connect. Some kind of, poof of smoke or mist or something, and a little blur of motion in the shadow creature, perhaps taking its own benefit from the fact that time was rewound and it had a little more processing time. And so now they are just point blank with each other and engaged in combat with each other. And that concludes this shadow creature's turn, which brings us to Jebediah Peppermint.
I'm just going to roll with this, 'cause I think, yeah, Jeb doesn't have any range to get over there and do spells. It's a lot farther away than it looked like previously. So he's going to focus on things a little bit closer.
Okay.
He is going to... I moved my lamp, and my light is shining directly on my character sheet in just a way that I can't read it.
That's weird, 'cause usually that's sort of a goal, is to have your lamp shining onto your character sheet.
Yeah, it's really odd. It's really odd. He is going to... Yeah, I think it's time. He is going to cast Hand of Jebediah again.
Okay. Where? On the ship or on the sky? Or like the ceiling?
Well, it's got a... Oh, it's got a 120-foot range.
Oh, he may not be able to reach. Chat,
Yeah,
we do
let
have
me
a battle map up for everybody, but it's just so that they can check distances and things. I think it would be too tiny for me to screen share it with you, and that's why I don't have it on screen here.
I know what I'm going to do. Jeb is going to reach his hand up to Barry, and Barry above Mockery, Zopf, and Riley.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just going to pull a stone fist down out of the ceiling and just smash into
Like-
Barry with it.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's going to be. Hold on.
So the
think
clenched fist can only attack one creature.
Right. Using my spell attack modifier. Okay, so that's a +8. That's a 19 plus 8, 27 to hit.
27's
Pow.
going to hit. Yes.
And he's going to take 4d8 force damage.
Dang. Poor Barry.
Rip.
He's having a bad day. Barry looks over at Barry and he's like, man, if we don't make it through this, remember me as I was.
Remember me
Barry.
as Barry.
He takes 17 points of force damage.
He takes 17 points of force damage. He looks over at the magical fist made of rock that's kind of suspended in the air in front of it. Well, does it like vaporize again afterwards, or does it stay formed?
Oh, it's going to be up there.
Okay. He looks over.
It is. Yeah,
He
it's going to
looks
be up
over
there
at
and
it
just
and he
floating
goes,
around.
Bury a scratch. Any move actions for Jeb?
Oh dang! I think he's going to get up next to FP.
Okay.
Gonna scooch up between FP and Radford. No, that's dumb. He's gonna stay. He's gonna stay exactly where. Ah.
Going once. Going twice.
He's gonna stay where he is.
All right. And that brings us to the next turn in initiative order, which
Radford.
is Radford.
Okay. Good shot, FP. Do better. You need to really tighten things up. And Radford is going to swing out with his Shadow Maul tattoo that he's got manifested on him. And he's going to take a couple swipes at this shadowy creature.
All right.
I'm juggling 3 character sheets, folks. Please be patient.
Yeah,
it
everybody's
takes a
got
long
a lot
time
of
to flip
characters to manage
pages.
tonight, chat. So sorry about that in advance.
Physically juggling them.
Yeah, he's
Physically.
actually balled them up, so that's why it takes so long. He has to
Dang.
unroll them again to read the stats.
That's another
Ball them up to
19.
Start juggling again.
29 to hit,
29 to hit. Yep, that's gonna hit.
and okay, that's going to be 1d6 plus 5, 4 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1d6 force damage. So that's 10, 13 force damage. And then he's going to do a flurry of blows and hit
Hit
him more. Yeah. I'm having a brain fart. Is flurry of blows 2 extra hits or 3?
Flurry of
I think
blows
it's
is
2.
2 extra hits.
It's at least a flurry of them.
Ooh. A natural 1 and a natural 20.
Wow.
Back to back.
I'll give you the natural 20 first, so you hit with it, and then we'll adjudicate the nat 1.
That is 14 points of damage.
All right. 14 points of damage as Radford moves up, and twice he hits it. So that
Doesn't need to move up. It's got a 15-foot range.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Cool. That's a
Yeah, it just like
that's a
whips
total
out
of
from him.
27 points of damage that get added. So if someone could add that to the shadow creature. Radford's not 1 though. Unfortunately, he's in his flurry of blows. He's in his zen, and the shadow creature sees the third strike coming. And I'm going to give you a choice wash for how we adjudicate your nat 1. One of them involves you making a roll, and one of them involves me making a roll. Which one do you want to do?
You know what, DM?
Yeah?
You need to roll more often. I'll let you roll.
All right. We're going to roll as the shadow creature is going to take basically an opportunity attack, just like FP got recently. It's going to dodge out of the way, and as it dodges, it's going to flick out that 10-foot chain that it has, and it's going to try and hit Radford right in the gut with the poison tips of this big spiked chain. And so here comes the roll to hit. Things are not looking good for Radford. That's a 19 to hit.
19 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
That hits.
Okay, 19 to hit, and then I unfortunately, like I said before, I only have the D20 and D6 up there, so I do have to roll damage off screen here. But I'll be back shortly after this brief word from our sponsors, Jake.
This is now the conversation that's happening in the verticulator while this craziness is happening. Well, when you really think about it, the name Deadeye, it ain't really that intimidating, you know? Could just mean it's a gang of, you know, kind of visually impaired people. Well, I don't know if that's really what they're going for. They're trying to do something that's more like about, I believe, gambling, because the tattoo is the dice. So it's, you know, it sort of has to do with like the concept of snake eyes, for example, or perhaps sharpshooting in that case.
Save. Don't tell me what you get. We'll come back to it in a second. Just roll a con save.
A con save?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, it's whatever. They're not a big deal. Yes, I appreciate that perspective. Sorry. I didn't mean to bump into, well.
If you wouldn't mind just trying to arrange yourself a little bit more conveniently. This is a delicate machine that we're carrying here, and it's hanging out the doors of a verticulator.
Yes, I agree. I apologize. It just seemed convenient at the time after
I
the
just thought of all the people
perilous
in here,
battle.
You would understand the trigonometry of positioning yourself inside a reticulator.
One would think that. Trigonometry, however, was my least highly graded subject back in the day.
Meanwhile, up on the Cugboat, con save?
I got a 6, but no, go ahead. I got a 6.
You got a 6, but no go ahead? All right. You take 16 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And then you take... Oof. 26 necrotic damage.
All right. Is this a poison or a disease?
This is a poison.
Radford is immune to poison. He has become so in tune with his key at level 12 that he's not immune to poison damage per se, but any poisoning effects or diseases, he's immune to them.
Okay, then the damage is not permanent until the next time he receives a greater restoration.
Okay, so that was
is a
26
huge game changer.
additional.
Look at him go. Yeah, 26 poison type damage, but it does not become the permanent hit point damage that it can be with them. And the shadow creature kind of cocks its head a little bit, like, that was weird. That didn't seem like it did what I thought it would do. Of course, it just like, you know, like Mouth of Sauron, does its thing. And that concludes its turn, which brings us to...
Riley!
Oh, that's right. It was a reaction from the net one. Okay, so it's Riley's turn. What will Riley do, party?
I would think Riley would go and attack the various berries that the Hand of Jebediah is doing. So Riley maybe could
Eldritch
fly
Blast.
up
Eldritch
20
Blast?
feet and then Eldritch Blast. Yeah.
I don't think she even needs to fly up.
I guess that's true, but I think flying and being somewhat of a distraction from everything else going on might be good.
Yeah, that's fine. So Riley flies up 20 feet and uses an Eldritch Blast on Bali.
I can roll it.
Roll it.
roll it. This the Eldritch Blast. And
It's gonna be
this
plus
Eldritch
8.
This
Now
Eldritch,
that's
I know.
not
I have the shit. I am
Okay.
taking care of the shit now. I thought we agreed to this.
That's how I describe myself. I am the shit.
Yes, as the French would say. I get two. Riley gets 2 blasts. One of them is a 22, and the other one is a dirty 20.
Okay, they both hit.
All right, see.
See, brother, this is how it's done.
What do you mean? I hit 2.
I hit him twice. I'm actually twice as good as you.
Well, I'll show you next time.
15 total damage from the 2 blasts.
15 total damage. That brings Belly to a total damage
Belly.
of 28. 28 hit points of oof.
There you
That's gonna be my
go.
autobiography. 28 hit points of oof.
There you go. And I think that would be the end of Riley's turn.
Oh, who's up next?
Next we have Barry.
Oh, the berries. Okay.
Barry.
There are 3 berries up there, and then there's Barometer, who's one of them, but I renamed him for the purposes of distinction. Barometer is sabotaging the verticulators. The 3 berries are over top of the Cug boat, kind of firing down on the nest. They are rappelling through a skylight, so it's not like they have a lot of sideways maneuverability as much as they are just firing down with their weapons, firing their lasers. So here is the first 2 attacks, because there's 3 of them. That's a nat 1 and a 17, and sorry, it's a 17 and a 12 on the die there. Let me see what those come out to total here. Although I'm sure the 17 is going to be high enough to hit.
The 17 does hit. They're attacking Riley, you said, I think, right?
They're attacking one of them. They're shooting 1 at each person. So Riley and Zop will both need their AC here. The 17's going to attack Riley. The 1 will attack Zop, and the 12 will attack Mockery. So we can be sure Zop is missed actually.
Okay.
The 17 that hits Riley is going to deal 11 points of fire damage as another bolt of fire just kind of whooshes out of the barrel of their weapon. That was Belly. He's like, oh, you attack me. And then Barry, next to him, is like, I can do that too, man. He pulls out his weapon and he kind of fumbles it and he drops it with his nat 1. And the rifle falls significant distance down to the deck of the Cug boat. The rifle falls 40 feet down and then kind of like smacks into the Cug boat's main deck, leaving a big scratch, landing among the broken glass from where recently your window was smashed by a table. And then the final one, Barry, is going to use his attack there. His 12 plus his 6 is an 18, and 18 does hit Mockery. He's going to hit Mockery for 11 points of fire damage. That might be the first time Mockery's been hit in our game. No, that's not true. She got hit in the fight where you almost lost the Rod of Luck. Okay, that concludes the berries, but Barometer is also over here working on his besieging activities. He's going to roll with his machine, and okay. You feel you hear it. Those of you who are up there, Owlin in the verticulator, you feel just a little bit of a judder, kind of like come down the line, and it just shakes a little bit. Which is not the same as what you've been like. It's overweight, and so it's swaying weird. This is like micro vibrations of some kind.
I do not believe that is our doing.
That does not seem good.
No, not quite. Gunner actually, like you can tell Gunner kind of is like really thinking hard about what that was. I mean, to me, it seems like someone's probably trying to either destroy or cut whatever's suspending us up here. That's what that felt like. Someone's trying to chop it off. And us down here, are we really aware that an invasion has been happening, or are we? I forget.
Yes, because you had to fight your way out of the
coming
lowest.
Yes.
guy.
Okay. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
tunnels.
What you don't know is that there's anything up on the ceiling above you, but you
okay.
know that from below there's a fight happening.
Okay.
The king of Udril, Tactus the Unyielding, is over in one corner going, there's no windows on this thing. I could try and lean out the door and look up. Can you move your elbow, please? Gosh, I'm just trying to get an angle to look up.
Yes, I just don't want to accidentally hit anything I shouldn't be hitting.
I'm already balancing on one ankle, so I don't know how much more I can do to help this situation. It's just like kind of leaning around trying to get a glimpse out the door, but he can't find the angle to look upwards. That will conclude Barometer's turn and bring us to
Zopf.
Zopf.
Who has an active rod right now? This determines what I do.
Bruiser has the Rod of Dexterity. Jebediah has the Rod of Luck. And I think that might be it for on the airship
That's
right
it on
now.
the ship.
Howlin has the other one.
Because
As a
it's 100
telephone.
feet, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
100 foot.
Would
It
Alan's
reaches to
be
the end of the
active?
ship.
Allen's would be active, but it wouldn't reach you
Why not?
because it
Because
can't.
He's way
Oh.
down.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry,
Alan's
I'm thinking
like-
about flying to take out the guys on top, and so I need a
Alan
magic
is
range
down near,
that.
like between the 6th and 7th tier. So
Okay,
he's not close enough for that to reach you. Well, no, he's
Oh.
not close enough. It's 100 feet for each
so the
tier.
distance is not accurate then.
Just for Alan and friends. Everything else is accurate.
Okay.
But I didn't want to add 1,200 feet of spaces vertically just for him
Oh,
to
yeah,
have to
yeah,
move
yeah,
that
I
crowd
get you,
up
I
the
get you.
reticulator. Chat on the map that
Do-
I made for everyone. We've just crammed all 6 people plus Direwolf into one little 20-foot space until they arrive.
Does the point that I cast on have to be in the sphere of a
No, you
weave,
just need
or
to be
does
connected to it?
I just need to be connected to it?
Yes.
Okay. How far is this? Too far. Dang. Okay, I can't do what I wanted to do then. Dang.
Chat says the accent hurts. Hey, I didn't rename them Berry. Okay?
Billy.
Yeah, you can't come after Berry.
Okay. Yeah. They're just out of reach. Dang. That's unfortunate. Okay. Then Zopf is gonna Eldritch Blast Barry.28.
Oh, Berry, you mean?
A belly.
There you
Billy
go.
dot 28.
That's just how much
Oh.
damage Berry is taking. It's not part of his name.
That is a 23 to hit.
That's gonna hit.
That is gonna deal 10 damage.
10 points of damage. Berry.38. Berry is not looking awful, but he's not looking great. The Eldritch Blasts are starting to leave his armor a little bit like kind of scorched, and little tatters and tears are appearing in it as all this force damage, gets knocked into him. He's probably bouncing against the rock ceiling, and it's kind of shredding and pulling at his clothes a little bit, or his armor, I should say. And that all Zopf is up to?
Yes, that brings us to Clara.
Okay.
Okay. Clara's flying up towards Zopf, Riley, and Mockery, none of whom does she know personally. I think, exchanged one phrase with Mockery. But Mockery was yelling, and Clara, being in the middle of the ship, was able to overhear. Like, hey, you! Did you say you needed something to stand on to get near these guys?
I mean, I could use, maybe if you were positioned like halfway, I could jump off of you and attack them.
Well, I got something better than that, honey.
Okay.
Clara is going to use a cipher of immovable object.
Ooh.
On her way up, she I'm going to need this, honey, and she snatches the sketchbook out of Riley's hands. Don't worry, it's going to be just fine. I'm sure it's great.
That was my art. Oh, wait, is that Zopf? I don't remember their voices.
Combining Zopf and Riley. That's okay.
My art, sister.
Is that my voice? And I'm going to cipher of immovable object this book into space about where Clara is right now. It's going to be able to hold 4,000 pounds. So if Mockery steps on it, it's going to be just fine. It's gonna be like, all right, honey, I know this looks like it's just, amazing magic. I'm incredible. It's rather intimidating, but you can stand on this. I'm going to stand on it and show her, like, look, bouncy, bouncy.
I believe you. I don't need the demonstration.
Oh,
I've
well,
heard
I
of
see.
magic.
You try to help some people. They don't even know how to say
I'm
thank
just saying
you.
you've got the kind of face I can trust. You don't need to justify.
Oh, thank you, honey.
You're welcome. Now look out.
Hey, where do we need lights? I got some lights going. Where do we need them?
I like that we have a light here. It's helpful for me.
All right. That ends Clara's turn.
Great. That brings us to Bob, who is another of the saboteurs. Bob and Brutus are still working on that machine that kind of like froze up or conked out on them down on the lower end of the steel cable suspending the verticulator. And as they're down there, we're going to make another roll. They've got a repair kit out now. One of them's got the manual. Like, why do they always do the manual in pictures? This is so unfortunate. But the other one is like, oh no, Bob's pretty sure he can get this to work. And he goes, just check this out here. So it looks like if we just take the crescent wrench and we just hit it real hard, and the machine, and it kind of like revs to life again. And you hear the zzz of the saw blade beginning again. They're going to get a roll for sabotage. Roll for sabotage.
That's Gunner's favorite role.
That is Gunner's favorite roll, but probably not in this circumstance as another shutter begins to wind
Gunner's
its way
actually
down
immune to
down the chain.
sabotage damage.
Another shutter kind of goes down the length of the chain, and we down in the verticulator, everyone can feel it. You're approaching the 7th tier of Gaim as you continue your climb here. That's going to bring us to Brutus's turn, who is also down there, so he's going to make another roll for sabotage. Here it comes.
Listen up, y'all. It's a sabotage.
And he is not successful. So he doesn't break it, but Brutus is like, he's taking this turn to like, okay, well, let me put the manual away. We're clearly going to need this again later. Don't know why. It's in a different language, and there's only pictures anyway. And they draw these. They drew
It's
these
in a
pictures
different
in
language,
Draconic.
and it's only.
They drew these pictures in Draconic. I can't read Draconic hieroglyphs. And then that concludes Brutus's turn as well, which brings us to Bruiser. Bruiser, I would like you to make a perception check with advantage. Something about the systems of your airship is not proper.
Gotcha.
Such improper airship systems.
Yeah, Wigbert would be
21.
furious. 21. You are pretty sure that one of the systems, maybe it's a hydraulic system or something, one of the systems that supports the thrusters is starting to fail on one side of the airship, and you are confident that it could not do so without being sabotaged from inside your boiler room.
Okay. He's gonna quickly make a call out to B Street.
Okay.
Hey, there's something sabotaging in the boiler room, I think. Do you feel comfortable checking that out and investigating, or do you need me to come down? Bruiser waits about 15 seconds. If he doesn't get a response, he's flying down himself.
Okay, that's this round and the next round. So after that, he'll start his flight down. And that ends Bruiser's turn and brings us to the top of initiative order. And a quick word picture. There are 3 berries above the airship. One of them's not looking so hot, and there's still a big floating hand made of stone near them. Or I guess really it's a big floating claw, right? Because it just replicates Jeb's hand.
Yeah, it's like a big Jebby hand.
Big mole claw. Big Jebby hand.
It's the hand of Jebediah.
Big Jebby hand is the name of my new funk band. And then there are also 4
Get your Jebby on.
sabotage expertise saboteurs. There are 4 saboteurs who are working on both the top and bottom of the chain, split 2 and 2, with these big,
Beastie
large
Boys,
machines
if you
that they have
will.
anchored onto the chain, and now the machines are trying to cut their way through, and they do seem to be having a little bit of success. Meanwhile, down in the verticulator, things are pretty cramped and frustrating, and because there's no skylight or windows, there's just a little crack in the door with all the metal sticking out of it that is your view of this city. Although, as Owlin and company begin to finally make it to the 7th tier of Gaim, on your way in, before you switch verticulators to the next one, you do begin to hear the very distant cries of dragons battling each other far above in the night sky over the mountains. And maybe just Owlin's artificer ears probably just barely pick up the subtle roar of the engines of the Cugboat, kind of flaring to life and getting ready to ignite.
Are we prepared or okay with trying to shove ourselves all in another singular verticulator in order to save time, or do we feel as though that is not worth the risk? Alan will turn to Laredith for that
The
question.
king turns to his wolf and is like, okay, we can take the next one.
Okay, all right. So we won't crowd it. We'll split up into two loads.
Great.
This next one.
Let's do all the people who are player characters in the first one, just for ease of
Sounds good.
arrangement. So that would be Owlin, Gunner, and Fox are going to be together in the upper verticulator, if you will. And then the others will be in the next one. But now they'll move at normal speed, which means that every 3 rounds, Owlin, you will have covered another floor. So you have 3 floors to go. Every 3 rounds, you cover a floor. In 9 rounds, assuming it doesn't fall, you will be on the 10th tier of Gaim and be ready to enter combat initiatives.
Isn't that the amount of rounds in kickboxing as well, or something like that?
Ooh, it is now.
It depends.
Okay.
And so we re-enter initiative back on the top tier of Gaim, the 10th tier, the poorest tier, with FP62. You are up close and personal with a shadow creature. You just fired at it and missed, and then it swung its spiked chain past you and kind of nicked Radford with it, as he tried to help you with the fight.
So, to that point, I was doing a little reading, and I discovered that being immune to poison and disease with purity of body, he's also immune to poison damage. Can I get that 26 hit points back for Radford?
Whoa. Whoa.
Yes. In the future, I would prefer if when we misinterpret a rule, we just implement the new understanding once we find it, just so that we're not trying to backtrack.
I 100% agree, but he's at half health, and I would really like that 26 hit points back.
Yeah, I'll give it to you this
But
time.
I'm asking. You're okay to say no if you don't want to wreck on it. Okay. FP is planted like a tree. There is a shadow creature in front of him. He is going to use steady aim, which gives him advantage on the attack, which means he gets to sneak attack.
Yep.
And hopefully he's going to blow the head off of this thing completely.
That is the dream.
That is an 18 plus 10 to hit, so 28.
28's gonna hit.
And
Roll
then
that
that is his full sneak attack damage. That is 7d6. I'm just gonna roll it. 66 plus 1d12 plus 4 is what we're rolling.
Cool.
Nice.
Crap. I rolled 5 ones, y'all.
Oh no!
The dice
my
giveth.
God.
And the dice taketh
man.
away.
What the heck? 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 points of damage. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I rolled a 2 on my d12.
FP does everything right, but the shadow creature seems completely unfazed. The shot.
I did everything right, but the
just
shadow
like-
creature is unfazed.
Just, right into the shoulder or something. I don't know. FP's probably being really precise about it. So wherever FP aimed, I guess you were trying to blow its head off. So you hit it in the head, and it doesn't seem to really do any damage to it. The shadow creature's mouth kind of yawns open in this angry, the fangs and the dripping saliva and it's getting all upset. As FP attacks it, it is going to use one of its 3 legendary actions. It has 3 per day, not 3 per round, but it's going to use one of its 3 legendary actions as FP takes this close-up shot, and it is going to leap towards FP, who is just in the next square over. FP needs to make an athletics or acrobatics check. FP's decision.
What? What is this craziness? He leaps at me and I gotta roll?
He's rolling 2.
Okay.
This is a grapple.
I'm going to do acrobatics. So that is 17.
It rolled a 16 as it leaps towards you, and it actually gets its arms around FP's neck and slides behind to use kind of a grappling move to basically flip FP over its back and over the edge of the tugboat. FP is able to do some kind of grappling or maneuver in some way that lands it back on the ground. The two of you are now back to back touching each other. But by the time either of you turns around, the other one will have turned as well. And you are occupying the same square, which makes it difficult terrain and will cost you double speed to move out of that square, obviously. But the two of you are in the same
Dang.
square, and that is it having used its action on that. FP, are you going to take any move actions this turn? You've only attacked.
He
so far.
can't. He cannot.
Oh, okay.
He cannot move. Yep.
Well, then
That's
that
his whole
brings
turn.
us to
Mockery.
Mockery's turn. Mockery is like, now we're in business. Let's do this. And Mockery is going to roll with a much lower and much more palatable DC of, what is that? That's 15 feet, so we only need a 5 on the die for Mockery to make this. That's a 14 on the die.
Woo!
Mockery leaps vertically onto the book. Boom. And then this puts Mockery dead center beneath the 3 berries who are attacking 15 feet down. She's going to crouch and basically those of you who are watching or who can see her, which I guess is just the twins really, it's Riley and Zop, she seems to almost like close her eyes and focus in, and her hands kind of form like a meditative stance of some sort. And then like a spring unleashing all that energy, she flies upwards, and she's going to burn some key points on a flurry of blows in the air. She's going
Nice.
to attack the berries. So here's her first attack.
Clara could see it too.
Yeah, Clara can also see it. The first one misses. Now here's the flurry of blows attacks that we're watching. It's hard to hit people in the air. That one hits.
Yeah.
The next one hits. She's going to burn another key point for 2 more. That one misses. And the next one hits. So she lands 3 hits while she's up there, but she does 5 strikes. She jumps in the air, and her fists and her feet are just a complete blur as she spins. It's almost like that spin move that Link does with his sword, except they're all melee attacks. As she's up there, and she cuts them out at the feet, basically, or at the arms, I guess, where they're holding onto the rope. The first 2 attacks are on Barry. She's going to roll some damage. 6 plus 3 is 9. Barry takes 9 points of damage, which brings the homie to a total of whatever 38 plus 9 is.
47.
47 points of damage. Ooh, and Barry plummets off the wall as she kicks his hands free.
What's your face?
And his unconscious body falls, whooshes right past the airship and just kind of flutters down. I mean, she kicked him way too hard for him to fall straight down. So the spinning kick kind of knocks him off. Even as she lands the second kick, her fists are lashing out towards Barry in the middle here. And she's going to get 1 attack that lands on Barry. That attack is going to hit for...
Get.
I would say I'd like to imagine that that when Billy was kicked off, it was like a Smash Bros. Out. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's like this big, energy
Yeah.
blasts up from the ground.
Hey,
Alan sees it from the verticulator. And really what happens is Alan and everyone's in the verticulator, and then you hear this Wilhelm scream go by.
Exactly.
So coming up. Mockery hits Barry or I guess this is just Barry. Sorry. Hits Barry for 9 points of damage with the single strike, and then comes back down, and she's going to roll an acrobatics to stick the landing. 18 on the die, she sticks the landing. And she's going to keep herself on the immovable object of the book for the moment so that she can continue her vertical attacks on the other turns. And that brings us to another of our saboteurs named Bart. Bart is up at the top of the steel cable anchoring the verticulator to the ceiling. Bart's got the machine in place. It's revved up. It's going. We're going to roll. And another zzzz, and this time the shockwave that comes down the line is a little bit stronger than the one before was, Alan.
Oh no.
They're becoming noticeably jittery. It's not a micro jitter anymore. It's just like a trembling in the line where it just kind of keeps trembling as the verticulator rattles on upwards.
Yep. Someone does not want us to reach the top of this. That is quite worrying.
The next person's turn in initiative order here is the Shadow Creature. The Shadow Creature right next to FP62 is going to whirl around at, I imagine, the same time. No, Gaming Fawn, nobody has died. That's not true. One person has died. Barry has died. The Shadow Creature whirls around to attack FP62 and is going to just launch into another knife attack now that we're up close. Going to attack with that. Let's roll to hit. And this is going to be that's an 18 plus 8 is 26.
Yeah, that hits.
26 is going to hit, and then it's going to make its full multi-attack, but I'll do damage for each one at a time. So that's 8 points of piercing damage from the first attack. Let's roll again to hit. The next one is a 15 to hit.
15 does not hit.
Okay, the 15 misses, and then it's going to go for a third attack, and that one is a 17. I'm sorry, an 18. 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Okay, 18. So that one's another hit, so that's going to be... Sorry, I've lost my place. 9 points of damage. Nine more
FP is
points of
going to
damage.
use his evasion to take half damage on that 9 hit points.
Sounds good. FP is going to take half damage from that. You're up close and personal, so FP's, servers come to life and kind of evasive action is triggered as an algorithm kind of recognizes the attack pattern. And the Shadow Creature's multi-attack ends, which brings us to the conclusion of its turn and brings us to Trevor, who's up? Jeb.
All right, Jeb's going to use his bonus action to have the hand of Jebediah smash into Barry.
Okay.
That's going to be actually.
They've got a big rock fist on one side, and then they've got Mockery literally at eye level punching them on the other side.
They're in between a rock and a mockery.
It's gonna open its hand, and it's just gonna push him.
Okay.
We need to make a contested strength check.
Cool. He's going to make it a disadvantage because he's rappelling off of a rope.
Okay. Oh, he's on a rope. I thought he was hanging onto a ceiling or something.
They rappelled into, through one of the openings that an airship or a dragon might come through.
Oh, well, if he pushes him, it's just gonna swing. That's not gonna, it's just gonna, push him on a, that's not gonna do anything.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna grab the rope and snap it. What do I need to do for that? Just boom, yank it out of the ceiling.
Just roll a strength check for it.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, it has a strength of some ungodly number, right? 20 something?
Yeah, it's 26.
Nice.
That's a 10 plus 8, so 18 strength just to yank this thing out of the ceiling.
I'm going to roll a tension die. Unless it rolls a complication, this works. All right. With a and a snap, the next person falls. This one does fall almost straight down and lands on the deck of the airship. That is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 feet of fall damage. Minus the 10 is 35, so we're going to do 3d6 of fall damage. 6, 10, 6. 16 total points of damage, which brings them to, what is that, 33.
33.
33 total points of damage, and Barry is on the deck.
During Jeb's turn, Zoff is going to yell out, Jeb, can you get a little bit closer?
Okay. And Jeb just kind of wildly gestures to this big shadow creature in front of him. And the hand is going to move down here below Barry, in between Mockery.
Okay.
And
to guard Mockery, basically.
kind of, yeah. It's just going to move into that position. It's not actually doing a thing, but
okay.
It's just moving into position. And then so that's Jeb's bonus action.
Right.
Then he's going to pull out the blunderbuss and slap there's a special shell that he has packed that is it's kind of translucent, and there's like this swirling purple mist stuff in it. And he's going to shoot the shadow creature with it. That is a lot of character sheets to juggle. 19 to hit.
19 hits.
All right, it takes 3d6 psychic damage as this mind sliver shoots through its head.
Okay.
Which is 8 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
And on its next saving throw, it's going to subtract a d4 from its next saving throw as it is jarred by this mind sliver.
Cool. The odds are good that I'll forget that, so you might need to remind me. But I'll do my best.
Move 5, 10, 15. That's as far as he can go without provoking an attack. Does the shadow creature get an attack of opportunity since FP is like in the same space as him and they're like kind of locked in stuff?
It would, but I would make it roll at a disadvantage because of the difficult
Yeah, Jeb's not going to do that then. Jeb's going to hang right there. I'm trying. I'm a trying.
Jeb, I
And-
just picture like Radford in this, or FP and the shadow creature are in like hand-to-hand knife combat, and Jeb is like, I'm just gonna scooch right around. He's just like,
Yep, he's
kinda,
just like
don't
going
mind me,
along
just like
the
shuffling
rail.
awkwardly around the side. Don't mind me, guys. I'm
Just
gonna-
a little bit over here.
pulls his hat a little bit
Um,
over his head, you know, so you can't see his eyes. Just don't
Yep.
mind me.
And then it's Radford's turn. And Jeb's gonna say, do that thing where you immobilize it. He's weaker right now. And Radford is going to punch him with a fist.
Do that thing where you immobilize it. Sure, punches it.
And that is a 27 to hit.
That's gonna hit. Y'all have some really
And
good
he's
attack
going
mods.
to yeah. Radford's a glass cannon. He's going to dump some key points into this and do a stunning strike.
Okay.
It needs to make I think it's a Constitution saving throw.
All right. It's gonna make a staving throw.
Target must succeed a Constitution saving throw. Yes, and that's going to be a
It's an 8 total.
DC 15. Okay, and he also gets a negative D4 on it.
Okay, so it's a 4.
Yep. So he is stunned.
Great.
He cannot move this round.
Okay.
Automatically fails strengths and dex saves. Any attack rolls against it have advantage, and he is considered incapacitated.
Great.
And Radford is going to come over on this side and just kind of post up. And I'm going to hit him 2 more times. And these are both going to be with a flurry of blows, these are both going to be at advantage. That's a 14 plus 10 to hit, 24. I'll go ahead and roll the next one. 17 plus 10 is 27 to hit.
Yep. Both
So that is 2d6 plus 12. Ooh, now I'm rolling good. 5 plus 6 plus 10 plus 2, 23 points of damage. Crack, crack.
brings him to 93 points of total hit points taken, or total damage taken. As you boom punch it a couple more times, and it kind of reels a little bit, like stunned or flinching off of your first attack.
That's actually all 3 of the attacks. Pow, pow, pow. 23 hit points. Radford is... That's already his bonus action. He's got a little bit of movement, but he's gonna chill there. Yeah, that's Radford's turn. Ooh, we're making some progress. Does it die? Did it die yet?
Nope.
Has it died?
That brings us to Riley in the initiative order.
No.
What, dear collective, will Riley be doing this turn? Riley, whose book is suspended in midair up above.
Maybe
I was
just
gonna
trying
say-
to retrieve the book.
No, I think Riley knows that's strategically advantageous for what they're trying to do. Maybe Riley just Eldritch blasts and does one dart at Barry up high and one dart at Barry down low. Too slow.
Seems
Does that sound
reasonable.
good to everybody?
May I make a recommendation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, we can't do magic over there. Never mind. Sorry. Never mind.
They can do magic over there, right?
Riley
you
can
gotta
do
be within
magic, right?
100
Yeah,
feet of-
Riley's within 100 feet of
Yeah.
Jeb.
Oh, but so does the spell effect have to be within 100
No.
feet?
No, just the caster has to be within
Caster.
100 feet.
Oh, okay. Well, Riley would like to. I think she would like to cast plant growth up
Ooh.
around Bart and Barometer.
Oh.
Oh,
are they in range?
enchanté.
A barometer is not
plant?
French, just so we're clear.
Where's plant growth? Does
Oh wait,
does she have
no, that
plant
doesn't.
growth?
She does, but that doesn't do what I thought it did.
There's
I was
spike
gonna.
growth.
I
You
was
were thinking
hoping
of
it would.
Entangle.
No, it says she's got plant growth level 3, unless that's just a.
Oh,
unless
you're right. I
that's just
found it. I found it.
But that doesn't do what I thought. I was thinking it would entangle around it, but it takes an existing plant and grows it.
Gotcha.
But she could cast Wind Wall right across them and that machinery, and just blow them clean off of the thing.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm looking.
120 foot range. A wall of strong wind rises from the ground at a point you choose within range. You
It's
can
farther
make the
than
wall.
120.
It's farther than 120 feet from her.
Yeah.
She could probably fly
That's-
over a little bit.
Holy crap!
That's
Well,
why I
if she
needed
doesn't
Jeb
have
to
a-
move to get
Yeah.
120 in range.
Yeah, if she doesn't have a
Because
hover
the thing
speed,
I
she
need.
would fall at the end of her turn. Or she
Nope,
doesn't have
you're
a hover
right.
trait.
Man, that's a tough. All right. Well, I tried. Sorry, I'll go back to my 3 characters.
Okay, then for
So
No, it's
the
a
Eldritch, the Eldritch Blast.
for now, it's the Eldritch. It's the 2 Eldritch blasts.
Great. Julia, I don't think you've rolled for Riley yet, have you? Why don't you roll the attacks?
It's a +8 to whatever you roll in D20 for the attacks.
We got a 19 on the die, which is a 27,
That's a hit.
and a 19 on the die, which is a 27.
That one's
Nice.
That one's also a hit.
And then it's 1d10 per each attack on per dart.
10 for the die. I don't think I have a D10. Can you roll that for me?
Yeah, I'll roll those.
Okay.
We roll those.
High berry
I got all
takes
the D6s.
7 force damage. Low berry takes 8 force damage.
Great. Highberry and Lowberry took 8.
Yep.
Lowberry perishes
Nice.
on the deck of the ship there.
Very nice.
Aw.
I turned the little mini sideways,
Lowberry
Jeff.
indeed.
I'm sorry that you
Nice.
can't see the map. It just is too expansive for it to make any sense. to
Yeah, there's a
stream to you.
lot. There's a lot going on.
But it is fun. Maybe next time we'll invite like chat as observers. Like I'll just put the link to Owlbear up there, and you can come in and
Yeah.
just not interact with anything. That's
What
what I should.
what I
have.
actually think is that also these little guys that Wash designed, we should, or I want to make stickers out of them and put them on things because they're cute. It's
Hey,
fun.
that's a good idea.
They would be great little stickers. Chat, imagine how great it would be if you could see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That concludes Riley's turn and brings us to
Barry.
Barry's turn. All right, so there's only one Barry left. A Barry who's up there with the hand of Jeb
The final berry.
and Mockery, both like within striking distance. That Barry is going to. Ooh, would
A
this
berry on the
do
vine.
that?
He needs to be plucked.
He's berry ripe. It's time for him to be plucked.
Man, you know, if my hand would have just like swatted him, he would have just been like swinging around like a tetherball for the next hour.
Man, remember playing tetherball in elementary school?
Fun game. That and Foursquare.
Yeah. I was good at tetherball because I was so tall.
Yeah.
Clara, you need to make a Constitution save. So does
my.
Mockery.
Is
There's
it a
Mockery
save
save.
against a spell or magical effect?
It is.
Nice.
Mockery succeeded on hers. Your DC to beat is 15.
I got a 17 on the die and a great personality. Yeah,
Okay.
we good.
So you also succeed. So you take. I think you have my D8. Can you roll 2D8?
You gonna make me roll my own damage?
Yeah.
Oh my. You said 2d8?
Yes.
You said 2D.
3 and a 2?
3 and a 2. 5 points of damage. You and Mockery both take 5 points of damage, but are not pushed 10 feet as Barry drops a cipher of Thunderwave, which goes off with a super loud kaboom that kind of reverberates around. Alan for sure hears that down in the Verticulator. This big Thunderwave rolls through the cavernous space. And Barry, having dropped that, is going to tug on his rope once, and it's going to pull him upwards and out of combat and out of the cavern there as he decides to go back up to get help or flee. One of those two.
I really wish my hand of Jebediah would get an attack of opportunity, but that's not a thing.
So Barry is with us no longer. There is,
That
however,
Barry is wise.
There is, however, Barometer. And Barometer is still doing Barometer's thing over here at the top of the Verticulator cable. We're going to roll another siege machine with a bzzz. You hear the motor actually get like a loud snap that reverberates across the cavern to those of you on the tugboat. I'm going to roll a tension die. Owlin, this time it's like a release of tension kind of single sine wave that like flutters down the Verticulator cable.
Once we reach the next landing point, maybe we don't get back on until we feel better about what's going on.
Okay, and that will conclude the berries. Barry 33 is dead, so we can skip Barry 33.
Yep.
Which brings us to Zop.
So I just want to ask a question, Josh.
Yeah.
This is the circle represents the entire spell that I want to cast. Would that count as hitting the two on the edges, or not count as hitting the two guys
It
on
would
the
only
edges?
hit Barometer, but it would not hit Bart or the machine.
What about Brutus?
Yes, it would hit Brutus.
Okay. So then Zop is going to fly out. I think it was. Where's that point? Okay. So he's going to fly out 15 feet.
Okay.
And he's going to cast. Let me pull up the spell. Sickening Radiance. It is a 120-foot range with a 30-foot radius. Centered on a point I choose within range. The light spreads around corners and it lasts until the spell ends. When a creature moves into the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, that creature must succeed on a con saving throw or take 4d10 radiant damage, suffer 1 level exhaustion, and emit a dim greenish light in a 5-foot radius. This light makes it impossible for the creature to benefit from being invisible. The light and any levels of exhaustion caused by this spell go away when the spell ends.
Ooh. You
Very
might have to
nice.
remind me of all those things, like when it happens. I will probably only
Yeah.
remember that they need to make a con save at the beginning of their
Yep.
turn.
Yep.
But that's dope. So Zop kind of flies out there, and then are you flying back to the tugboat?
Yes.
Cool. And that concludes Zop's turn and brings us to Clara Albuquerque.
Clara Albuquerque is frantically reading her spell list.
I like the idea that Clara found her spell list in Riley's book. Like, it's immovable
Like,
in place, but you made it immovable, like, open to a certain page.
This
so
is actually
Mockery
a pretty great read. I'm
Mockery
learning
is-
a lot today.
Mockery's standing on the binding, and you're underneath reading the writing.
Okay.
Not unlike what we're actually doing in order to play as Riley.
There is still a shadow creature over here by Jebediah Peppermint. Is
There
that
is.
correct?
That is correct.
All right. I think. All right. You two, like, little flutterbugs, you're good down here? Are you okay?
Yeah, we're good.
I was not talking to you. I knew you was good. Okay.
Okay, good.
I know you were good. Okay. Clara is gonna join the Wash Gang. How we
The
doing
washed
over
masses?
here, everybody? The gaggle, as it were. And I have no idea if it's gonna work on this big ugly guy. Well, here's what we're
Well,
gonna
then you better do
try.
it.
All right, you. What do you call a dragon in a silk gown? It's a kimono dragon. And I am going to do. This activates her breath weapon, which is Tasha's hideous laughter, and I'm very grateful to have found that the wisdom save for it is actually 18. Josh.
All right, here's the roll. With the mods, it's not enough. The shadow creature, it doesn't have a voice box in the way that normal humanoids have voice boxes. So it's not a laugh. It's more like a guttural rasp that comes out regularly. Like,
Oh,
As
so
it,
it is
like-
laughing?
yeah,
Like
that's,
it's trying?
that's Tasha's hideous laughter, isn't it?
It
has
is.
to
No, I
laugh.
thought you said it wasn't enough, but you meant for him.
No, I
I'm
meant
with
the
you.
creature is not equipped with
Oh
the
my
tools to laugh,
goodness, big ugly.
but it thinks your joke
Likes
is funny,
my
I guess.
Jokes.
Um,
I slay around here.
Yeah, and that is that. Just as a reminder for everybody else, every time it takes damage, it gets a chance to redo the throw, the save, as well as at the beginning of its turn. So if you hit it, it's going to get another chance to snap out of it.
Is one of these lights on the side of the boat? I see one in
Yes.
the midsection.
Yeah, if you zoom out, you can see the elevation as well. Or, like, so you can see elevation.
Okay,
and position.
I am gonna maybe put that right in the middle.
Okay. So
Are
we're
there
moving
people?
dancing lights. Clara commits one of her dancing lights. She gets it off the stabilizing fin to the side of the tugboat and brings it up and just like front and center on the main deck. It's just kind of right in the
A
middle.
little easier to cross the space. All right, you need me to move any of these? Are you okay?
We just need him to die. But
All right.
yes, you're doing
Well,
doing
I
great.
slay.
Good.
That's it.
Good
for,
job.
for Clara.
Well, I
It was
slay.
it was a good joke.
Okay, and that brings us to Bob and Brutus, who are beginning their turn within the sphere. Well, Brutus is beginning his turn in the sphere, so he needs to make a con save. He's going to make
Yes.
it, and then I'll tell you how he does, and you can tell us what, if anything, happens to him. That's a 12 on the die, plus 2 is 14.
That fails, so he's going to take 40-10 radiant damage and suffer 1 level of exhaustion.
Okay.
Those are the important things. He's also going to emit a greenish light in a 5-foot radius, and it makes it impossible for him to become invisible if that is an ability he has.
Great.
Radioactive, radioactive.
Let's get that 40
So-
10.
Whoa,
Yep.
oh.
He is going to take 22 points of damage.
22 points of damage. He, like, it's radiant, right?
I
I'm
would
pretty sure it's radiant
expect
damage. It is for this turn.
Yeah,
as he
radiant.
Takes the
It's
radiant
radiant.
damage. He like squints and throws up a hand to try and cover his eyes. And like, oh, what is that? What is this green? I can't even when I close my eyes. It's green because he's emitting green light. And he has that level of exhaustion. He's feeling weary. He's feeling almost like this sphere is centered above him, and so it feels almost like it's pressing down on him at the machine. But he's still going to kind of move and like, I'm gonna give it a go. And he kind of like shoves the saw blade forward, basically trying to push. It's almost like a chainsaw type machine. So he's just trying to push it through the steel cable. He's going to roll at disadvantage because he has a layer of exhaustion, or a level of exhaustion, I should say. And at disadvantage, that is a 7 on the die, which is not enough. And so with the exhaustion, he's like, I can't do this by myself, Bob. Bob, however, does not have a level of exhaustion and is right next to him. Bob is going to roll his own. And Bob, he also is actually unable to do it. Maybe they're pushing it together. And he's like, Brutus, without you, and he like, he's got to reset. He got to like plant his feet, get ready, and kind of get ready to shove a little better. And that brings us back to Bruiser's turn. Bruiser said he was waiting 15 seconds. So this turn, he is waiting to hear back from Bradford Street. Is he doing anything in the cockpit while he waits to hear back?
Well, I guess 15 seconds would be in the middle of the turn, so he would spend just, let's say he gets 1 action. Is that fair?
Well, 6 plus 6 is 12 seconds. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then he would just start moving. He would make his 30 feet towards the boiler.
Okay, that's fine. He gets into the ship, and next round he can get to the boiler room.
Okay.
So that's so he basically, there's a hatch in the back of the cockpit which he quick flips open, and he starts going down this ladder that's really just like iron loops coming out of the front of the hull, and he's kind of lowering himself down there until he can get to the lowest of the 3 decks on the tugboat. He pushes through a storage area that's still pretty dusty and full of junk, although now there are some additions of big briefcases of Wingle Digits that have been stowed since they were stolen by the group, as well as some other supplies from Four Guys HQ. So there's dusty things and there's fairly new things. So he kind of pushes his way through those to get to the boiler room door, and you'll be able to go through it on your next turn. That brings us back to the top of initiative order. Jake, how far up the reticulator are Owlin and friends?
You said it was 3 rounds
3
per
rounds
level?
per tier, and you needed 9 rounds total. So since we last spoke, I don't know how many rounds it's been.
That's a great question that I should have been keeping track of.
I think it's been 3, but I
think
could
that
be
sounds
wrong.
right.
Okay.
So yes, yeah, because we talked about how it was going to be 1 more round, and then they were going to switch.
Okay.
But Alan mentioned perhaps we should not take the next reticulator up until we feel more confident in the fact that it won't be cut down. Does that? I think that sounds reasonable.
Fox trembling shakes his head in agreement.
Okay, so they're on the 8th tier. Is that what they're on now? The 8th tier.
Yes. 8,
On the
9,
8th tier, they're going to step out and then kind of take stock of. See if maybe from the gemstone hall, or like maybe if they are able to step out, are they able to spot more of what's going on and give and help at all?
Sure. So
kind of a
you
thing.
can't see any of the details of what's happening up above you. It's still more than 200 feet away, and it's a dark space. But there are some light-emitting things, so you can see dancing lights kind of fluttering back and forth around where you're pretty sure the tugboat is. Just these small little pinpricks of white light that are glowing up there. You can hear the sounds of the machines now. You're close enough that you can hear a distant zzz, and you can also hear the thrusters of the tugboat, that dull roar that of a rocket thruster that's kind of igniting. And then you can also see there's just this huge radiant sphere of green that's centered above the reticulator, and it's just not barely, but it's poking about halfway off over the roof, so you can see like a hemisphere basically of this big green ball of light. And those are the things that are immediately apparent to you. You also, from time to time, hear like a little shifting of stone that you kind of associate with Hand of Jeb.
Okay.
But those are the informations you get as you're standing there. You see like civilians are on the walkways looking up as well, trying to figure out what's happening up there. One of them goes, "Someone fell right past here from up there."
I would advise to stay back from the reticulators. I believe someone is attempting to sabotage its structural integrity. So until things calm down up there, I would not use the particulars to go up or down.
You hear the shrieking of dragons fighting up above the cave structure in the night sky.
Alan and Gunnar, I guess, because those are the people I have control over, are gonna focus on like, all right, let's get into kind of a protected position where we can kind of hear what's going on, just kind of be on our guard and wait until it sounds like things calm down, and then hit the particulator again.
Okay.
Because we just don't want to risk getting chopped down, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. Your other option would be to try and like go to the edge and go up like the staircases in the residential areas, but it'd be a long run over the like the exposed walkways to get there.
Yeah, and carrying the machine, I think that's dangerous because things could fall and yeah.
Okay.
How many rounds do you think it would take to go up the stairs? More than 3 per level, I would assume. Cause
yeah, I mean it's 100 feet,
yeah.
so you'd be traveling. Well, no, I guess Alan could probably do that pretty quick, but not everybody could. I think Alan could cover the ground and probably do it around the same pace. Alan can run up the stairs at the same speed as this particulator.
That's funny. But Alan doesn't want to do that. Alan would rather protect the people that he's with because we have the machine.
Because that's what leaders do.
Yeah. So that's the plan right now. Is like keep eyes and ears out, and if it sounds like things calm down, hit the particulator.
Okay, great. As Alan is just kind of taking up this protective position, and he's there. There are like scared civilians are asking you like, what's going on down on the lower tiers? What's happening down there? And there's just basically the civilians here are trying to figure out what's happening, and Alan is the closest resource.
Yeah. Alan will do his best to like briefly fill in like pretty much just as bad as up here.
FP62, we are at the top of initiative order. There is a shadow creature directly in front of you, still up here by the cockpit of the tugboat, up here near the prow.
It is barely still up here because, as I understand, it is prone, laying on the ground, laughing.
It is,
and also stunned
it's
from Radford. Well,
yes.
Same difference, but
its stun
but it is also still
ended
stunned.
in order for it to laugh. But
its stun does not end until its turn, like its next turn.
But its turn has passed, is what I'm saying. We passed its turn before Bob and Brutus because it was laughing. So Clara made it laugh, and then it had a turn.
Okay, your call.
I think.
Okay, so it is
wrong,
prone
whatever.
then.
Yeah, it is prone and fine. Incapacitated.
So FP is going to holster the rifle real quick and pull out his scimitar and just go for the coup de grace.
All right. You have advantage because he's prone and all the other reasons.
I rolled a 15.
And then?
And then I rolled a 20.
Let's go!
Plus 10 for a total of 30.
Let's go! Nat 20.
Which means he's going to take 12d6. Hold on. What's his scimitar? I think his scimitar is only a d6, so he's going to take 14d6 of damage.
Cow.
Describe the kill, including the strange sensory effects as it dissolves back into chaos energy.
I think he is going to take the opportunity, like as it falls, he's going to kind of do a handstand back and just like blade down, lunge at it, and just slice it from toe up to head, just straight through it. And I'm curious, Josh.
Yeah.
With this chaos energy that bursts out of it, and FP having been animated by an arcane battery or arcane reactor thing that the Abolus made, is there any weird chaos energy effect that happens to FP?
You ask great questions. That's enough for me to clear the tension pool.
Is he a real boy?
Is he a real boy?
Does his heart grow three sizes today?
Something happens. Give me a sec. We've rolled a complication for those of you listening along.
I wanted a cool plication, not a complication.
A cool plication.
Heyo.
I wanted a natural 20.
That just happened. Yeah.
A natural 20 cool plication for using chaos energy to make something neat happen to FP.
I didn't say that FP doesn't get something cool, but wherever
Cool.
lots of magic happens at once.
It's complicated.
I mean, we're messing with the plane of limbo here.
How low
Okay.
can you go? Am I right?
He can now bend at his knees and just walk.
Okay. Here is what happens. First, FP, you feel, which I guess by itself is weird. You feel in your chest a strange mechanism of some kind as you are transmuted from a construct to a humanoid, and size category medium. You
Ooh.
lose whatever damage, immunities, and vulnerabilities being a construct of metal
Mhm.
gave you, as you become statistically equivalent to the race human for your base racial stats. At the same time, those of you around FP62, which is quite an audience, Radford, Jebediah, Clara, the three of you are all with FP trying to kill this shadow creature, and so you have front row seats to the dexterity saves you get to make as this huge pulse of bluish white light races across FP's body and emanates outwards. How did you all do on your dexterity saves?
Jeb got an 18 plus some things.
We need to know
What
the
are his things? Yes, I'm flipping pages.
No, I just
Please
meant
hold.
like an 18 on the die
Yep.
is not sufficient.
18. Okay, Jeb got a 19.
Okay.
And I think this is spooky enough that he is going to use his reaction with the Rod of Luck and use his second charge
Just
today
give himself a
to
success?
succeed.
Okay.
Yeah, to succeed.
Yep.
Clara got a dirty 20.
Okay.
Radford got a natural 1, but he does have the monk thing, like evasion or whatever it is that makes him take half damage if he fails a dex save.
Okay, so
But that doesn't.
we'll give him
yeah.
full damage instead of double damage for his.
Okay, because it's a natural one.
Yeah.
Okay.
This pulse of bluish white light ripples across FP's body. It starts at the seams, and then as the seams knit together and he becomes this humanoid form, almost like Vision in the Marvel movies, where he's not really any specific like race or body.
Like
he's
a synthetic
still
humanoid
copper-colored.
almost.
Yeah, he's still copper colored. His eyes are still that weird teal blue, with little flecks of red in the irises.
He's high def.
And this whole thing, so this blue kind of like ripples over him through the seams, and then it starts to just wash across his body, and you actually hear like the sound waves as this huge pulse of arcane energy just blasts out of him, and you take 27 points of force damage as just this boom, big shockwave ripples outwards. Bruiser, on your way down to the boiler room, you're in the storage room when the whole Cugboat is rocked by this massive shockwave of some kind up by the prow, and it dips. And it dips weird to where the thrusters, which were aimed down to stabilize you, begin straining against the anchor as it's trying to propel itself forwards at a 45-degree angle up and away from the walkway that it's anchored to. You hear and feel the as the anchor slams into the walkway, and for the moment, the walkway holds as the chain goes taut. And the airship, it's not like the thrusters are moving any higher, but what would have just been enough to hover before is now sending you forwards, and you fear that if it is not corrected quickly, the Cugboat will begin pulling downwards and nose into the walkway, because that energy has nowhere else to go. Like the chain that's held taut is going to work like the center of a centrifuge, and it's going to slam itself down if you can't get back to the cockpit in time. Owlin, down below, you see if you've ever seen a wormhole in any science fiction movie, where it's like the light condenses and then just a big circular ripple of blue on like a horizontal plane just blasts out from the third tier, bright enough that it's imprinted on your eyes even when you close them for a few seconds. And it just ripples out in every direction. And then all the sound in the cavern city of Gaim is silent for a little while as your ears are ringing. And FP, you feel actually pretty good. In fact, you feel like you're at full HP, in case you weren't, as like your whole self has been altered. But everybody else is not feeling so great. Clara has a hand up. Yes, Clara.
So everybody else took the 27 damage, but not FP. Got it.
Right. Yeah, so FP, you did not take that damage. And Jeb did not take any damage. Jeb saw something happening, didn't know what it was, and decided to just rely on the luck of the draw. And you basically, Jeb grabs the rod, and then before he has a chance to activate the charge consciously, he sees a penny on the deck. And he bends over to get the penny, and the shockwave ripples past him.
Oh, Wingle digit.
Yeah, or like a spare Wingle digit or something. No, I think it's a penny. It's like just a straight up shilling.
Yeah.
You know, like a
just from like because it's an old ship.
And so you like bend over, you find a shilling. You feel like the hat, ripples in the energy of the shockwave. And then Jeb stands up again, and there's FP in front of you, this new strange humanoid creature.
Target destroyed. Target Is everyone okay?
I'm feeling a little destroyed myself.
FP, you have always worn, I believe, common clothes over your fancy clothes. Is that right?
That is correct.
Your fancy clothes are now imprinted on your body like a tattoo.
Oh.
So you're only wearing common clothes, and if you ever take them off, you are wearing a full tattoo of fancy clothes at all times.
Interesting.
I feel different,
Fancy.
but dapper is a word that comes to mind. Bradford, do I look dapper? Oh man, hold on, I can't see. Let me let my eyes adjust. What happened? I do not know, but I feel like I am one step closer to
The edge.
getting a life. Do I have a life now? FP, you've always had a life. Now you gotta just make sure it's worth it. I will endeavor to do so. Thank you. And he looks down at the shadow creature, or like the remains, and says thank you to it.
Well, the shadow creature erupted into some kind of sensory strangeness.
Yeah, he's looking at where it was, like the big,
Sure.
the scorch mark from
yeah.
around the side, like the place that's not scorched. I was not anticipating a life-changing moment, but here we are. We shall make it worth it, will we not? And he pulls out his... Does he still have, like, his gear? Like, is his rifle still there with him and his other stuff?
Anything that was built into his body, he doesn't have anymore, but the rifle he does.
Okay. I think he's going to focus on his new body for a second. Can he, like, manifest a cape? Like a...
Well, you know what?
okay.
Roll charisma, and if you nat 20, it'll let you manifest a cape.
Here we go.
Never say never in D&D.
That's
not true.
No,
You
it's
should
a 14.
sometimes say
That's a
never.
14.
Nope.
You see him. He actually scrunches up his face. And like he closes his cerulean eyes and scrunches up his face, and he's like, and he looks at his shoulder and goes, "Oh, I'm a little disappointed. Maybe next time."
I can tell you one thing, honey. This is not boring.
Unfortunately, the complication I rolled as everyone took in the moment here was such that the shock of this shockwave prevented anybody from taking any actions this round, except the villains who were not nearby to the point of origin. and who are trying to saw through the verticulator cable. And with a loud you see another big thread of the, or I guess this is the first big thread that you've seen literally fall from the ceiling and begin.
Did Barometer make a save?
No, he didn't. I'll roll that for him too.
If Brutus and Barometer, or if Brutus stays there, he's going to take it again. Barometer will take it for the first time.
Okay. Barometer failed, so he takes it for the first time. And Brutus did succeed this time. So he does take the level of exhaustion. He takes some damage, but there's a huge, basically, this big steel cable. It's like braided. So one of the braids has just spiraled away, and is now kind of hanging limply from the ceiling. The whole pendulum shifts a little bit, and combined. In fact, I need to roll another tension die for this. Combined with the momentum of the tugboat pulling away. No, it is not enough to break the walkway, but there's like some weird structural forces happening that were not intended for the 10th tier of Gaim.
Does the verticulator gang see this happen?
You see the cable spiral and you hear it, yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's good to know.
Yep. The next round we'll see the king and like the other people who are following you get out of the verticulator on your tier. So everyone will.
Okay.
Barometer takes 25 radiant damage and has 1 point of exhaustion.
Great. Barometer.
And did you roll?
I didn't
Brutus
roll the damage. Brutus
at
succeeded.
disadvantage.
Oh no, I didn't roll him at disadvantage.
Because I think 1 level exhaustion is disadvantage on ability checks, right?
But isn't this a save? Well, he nat 20'd and he got a 19, so he's still gonna succeed.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's that piece, and then that brings us to it is Mockery's turn in initiative order. She's still like shocked and slightly taken aback at the sight of FP as a human, so she's gonna skip her turn, and just kind of delay and watch for things. Bart is another saboteur. He is not in the sphere of greeniness.
Yeah.
With a 16 on the die, there's more progress as the saw is now beginning to cut into pretty serious substance of the cable here. And the next person in initiative order is dead. It was a shadow creature, so skip that. So Jeb, Radford, and then Riley will all be up next.
Did it skip their turns? I thought you said it skipped their turns this round.
This is the next round of initiative.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Jeb is going to run. 5, 10,
you're also at 45 degree
15.
angle, I guess. We should have specified that. The tugboat is 45 degrees. It's
Okay.
kind of leaning.
Can I still get the hand of Jebediah down to where Jeb is?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring the hand down, and Jeb's gonna jump onto it.
Okay.
And then he's gonna ride it back a little bit, like get about 20 feet. He's heading as like up there. He's heading
Cool.
to the cable to
He's
get
gonna
over
bring the
there
fight to
as
them.
soon as possible. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So that's Jeb's turn. You can figure out what that distance is and move him.
Yep. I'll do it.
And then Radford is also, it's his turn as well.
Yep.
2 turns next to each other.
We can skip
Is a
that really quick
challenging
because I
thing
realized
to do.
we overlooked something, which is that Bruiser was not outside for the shockwave, so he would have gotten to take an action last round. So the question is, did Bruiser go back to the cockpit to try and correct the angle, or is he going to go and try and work on that engine failure that he heard and B Street not responding?
He's gonna go work on the angle. There's a comm outside, right?
There's a you mean like to the main deck?
Yeah.
I don't think there is. But there's a door right behind you. You could real quick open the door and yell out to them.
Okay. So he would go back up and yell, "Someone go check the boiler room. I gotta fix the ship correction." And then
Go ahead
begin
and roll
correcting.
your vehicle check for me.
Yep. Oh, another natural 20.
Natural 20. Bruiser knows his machinery, and even with this one engine that's like not performing the way it should, you are able to fix the angle of the ship, bring it back into kind of a resting position, and you even compensate enough that you put slack back in the anchor chain, so that the anchor should be easy to release and reel back in when it's time to leave. Now, Wash, if you want to tell us what Radford is doing. Jeb's hand of Cole swoops down, or hand of Jeb swoops down and picks him up, and he begins his departure up into the air towards the saboteurs. What is Radford up to?
He's gonna yell through the door to the cockpit. Bruce, are you cool? You need anything?
Bruce yells back, "Go to the boiler room. Someone's messing with things down there."
Okay, I'm going. And he's going to start heading down the boiler room. He's going to use, how far can he get with his movement? He's got 50 feet of movement.
He can get to the boiler room if he goes through the cockpit, but he can't get into the boiler room. So he can basically get as far as Bruiser had, where he's in the storage room, he's standing at the door, but he has not opened the door, he's not in the room yet.
Okay, so he's going to try and open the door. Like, is the door stuck or something?
No, I just mean it's closed and it's at the 50 feet.
Okay, so yeah, he's just going to rip the door open. What does he see?
He rips the door open. He sees B Street laying on the ground, his lumberjack's axe near him. B Street appears to be breathing but unconscious. And he sees the left side thruster of the tugboat, the port side, I should say, has like the system of wingle digit feeding, like the hopper and the hot lines that feed power to it, has just been ripped completely out of the engine. It doesn't look like it was done like mechanically. It looks like it was slashed with something, which is why there's a little bit of intermittent power leaking through, but it's mostly spilling out arcane energy into the room in just a shower of weirdly colored sparks.
Bruiser, something's wrong. The big up and down thing, it's been cut and it's fallen, and there's things going everywhere. Lots of light. The stuff that just blinded us up top, it's like it appears to run on some form of magical energy. I don't know what's going on, man, but it's really bad.
Would Bruiser know if FP has a working knowledge of mechanisms?
No, Bruiser probably wouldn't know that. Oh, you know what? He did spend a while with FP. Sure, he would know that.
Okay. Get FP to help you.
Okay, FP,
He's
I'm
standing
gonna
on the
clear
deck,
the
scrunching
room.
his face.
Trying to grow a cape.
I'm gonna clear the room a little bit. Come down here and see if you can figure out what's going on. And I think I'm going to do two things. I think with Bradford, I'm going to bonus action patient defense. Yes, bonus action patient defense in the doorway, and I would like to use my action this turn to make a perception check and see if I can see any danger in there. Like, I feel like I've got a lay of the scene, but something cut it.
Yeah.
It was either B Street and he was like possessed or something, or there is some sort of dangerous thing in here. Can you just hand through there and see what's going on?
Go ahead and roll your perception.
That is a 16 plus some things. Perception. 19.
You don't see anything.
Dang it. I don't see anything. Dang it. All right, he's just got his hands up, but there's like the tattoo is just kind of like wavering. It's like this big claw that's just like up in front of him, and he's just ready in case anything jumps out.
Great.
And that's his turn.
It's Riley's turn. Riley is like, can I have my book now?
Are we still trying to stop these verticulator guys, or are we like
Alan's shoulder angel just pops up on Riley's
I was
shoulder.
gonna say, like, I was gonna suggest I did some spell math, and even though these guys haven't moved, that are working on the verticulator, so maybe it's not the most useful thing. Riley could cast spike growth on either of the two pairs, like in a 20-foot, circle, like, it would be on either the ceiling or the ground that they're at. So that if they moved, they would take damage. Do we think that that's worth casting?
If it can reach.
It will reach. It's just that it doesn't do any damage to them unless they move at least 5 feet.
Sorry, I'm looking it up.
It creates difficult terrain. Like, I think it's probably worth doing in case they try to move to start attacking the people on the boat from range. It's just tough because that's
Just
the
having
only
anything over there, I think, is helpful because there's
Okay.
just so little we can do.
Yeah,
Is there anybody
'cause-
that needs to be healed up? Riley's our cleric.
Clara has
that's
a
true.
hand up. So maybe Riley actually flies
I am in
over
the
to.
world of hurt.
Okay, then yeah, Riley can heal Clara.
Riley's
then.
move speed towards Clara.
Riley only has a move speed of 20 according to the sheet. So
What about the fly
that'll
speed
be-
though?
I don't know if there
I
was
can tell you.
an active writing of the fly speed on the side of Cleo.
Not essential for role playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's walking speed of 30. I don't know why she has 20 written.
I don't know.
Flying. Oh no, that's Bruiser. Wait, why is Bruiser have flying speed? Oh no, he doesn't.
Bruiser
Never mind.
has
Because he has wings.
Yes. Walking speed of 10, flying speed of 60.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And-
yeah, where
and
does the
Cleo
20
wrote
come
walking
from?
speed of 20 and no fly speed.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
5, 10, 15,
Okay,
20,
but Trevor just
25,
forgot
30,
that Bruiser had
35,
wings
40,
for a minute,
45,
so we're all not
50.
doing great.
Hey, there's a lot of characters to manage. All right, there's a lot happening.
Hey, you,
Okay.
the shrimpy one, I could use some help.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
Oh wait, does Riley have to land every time?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's right around the
5, 10,
dancing light there.
20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Oh, wait, I'm bad at this. 60. There we go. Boom.
Got it.
Yep. So Riley flies down to the deck, scoots over the dead body of Barry, and is just rushing towards Clara. Doesn't quite make it this turn, but is on the way to help.
On the way to cure wounds.
That's right. Barometer needs to make a save
Yep.
at
Save.
disadvantage because Barometer has a level of. I don't know why I call them layers tonight. Has a level of disadvantage, and with a 16 on the die, I think that's going to be a success. It's a con save, right?
Yep.
That's a total of 18.
Oh dang, yeah, that beats it.
Okay. So Barometer passes the save and is going to continue machining away. This is with disadvantage. And even with disadvantage, this machine up here is making real progress. This one probably has
Dang.
the brand new blade. The lower one is having trouble. But this one, they're pushing away. And another big snapping noise. And we roll a complication. As this cable breaks and another one spirals off of the verticulator. There is a so as the cable rips off, it spirals because it's braided. So all of its energy comes out in concentric circles as it whips around. However, the speed at which it is whipping around causes it to get uneven. So instead of spiraling in a plane, a flat circle that's kind of descending the cable, it gets tilted and the huge braid of the cable lashes into the ceiling and dislodges a huge chunk of rock as all that tension slams into it. And this big kind of slams down. This big chunk of rock from the ceiling slams down and it lands on the walkway. I'm going to roll. Actually, let's have Jake is going to roll a d20 and Julia is going to roll a d20. And if Jake rolls lower than Julia, then the rock is going to go clean through the pathway and create a big gap there, or a big bridge, like a big opening in the bridge.
I hope I roll high. 12.
12 is higher than it looks like 2.
Ooh.
Yep. So, okay. So it just slams into it, but the engineering here is good. Geim is a place of master craftspeople. And
So is it after... Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was say after Bruiser is when the second verticulator will make it up, and then
Yes.
we'll be able to take the stairs.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
see you've made the decision.
Well, yeah, it's like, all right, we've seen 2 cables just. It's like, okay, not worth waiting. Let's go.
Gotcha.
How far down are they?
They're on the
We're
8th
on
tier.
tier 8. Yeah, we got two
So
tiers
200
to
feet
go.
up. They need
Run.
a couple hundred
Yep.
feet to the side and 200 feet up. So it's probably around, I would guess, probably 12 to 13 rounds, something like that, for them to make it, just to get to the edge
Yeah.
of the tier and then back into the airship.
Yeah. Fun.
Fun indeed.
Is that the end of Barry's turn?
That is. It is Zop's turn.
Okay, so Zop is gonna pull out a longbow, which has a range of 150 over 600. So I believe he can attack without disadvantage.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, he can hit any of them. So he's going to attack Barometer
Okay,
on the top first.
that makes sense. AC
That's
to
gonna-
beat is a 15.
14.
Ah, man.
So close.
The arrow kind of misses and bounces off of the machine that they're using to saw through.
Dang. I think that's it then.
Okay, Clara Albuquerque. You could move the rest of the distance to Riley and get healing this turn if you want.
I was say Riley still has to be the one to cast.
I know,
The
I'm just saying
heal
that instead
wounds,
of Clara
cure
taking an
wounds.
action, we could give the action to, because Riley didn't take an action on Riley's turn either.
Mm.
Oh, I should have dashed. What?
I thought you did.
No,
I'm-
60 feet is the fly speed.
Sometimes you
Dang.
Get, sometimes you just get confused.
Those little
Oh,
weaklings,
no.
they're zippy. They only have a 10-foot walking
Sometimes
speed,
you-
but put them in the air.
Sometimes you pay stupid games. You get stupid
And you win
prizes.
stupid prizes.
Did I
Um,
hear Radford exclaiming about what's going on downstairs, or is that like in a communication device that just went to?
I think
Bruiser?
it was just being yelled up the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Then I am just gonna get healed up. Thank goodness. You would not believe the day I am having.
what level of cure wounds do you want?
what
Well-
levels you got?
Level
I
9.
I have 10 hit points left. The choice is yours.
We'll do a nice level 3.
Thanks, Bay.
All right. Oh, hopefully I can roll better than that.
Well, that's going on.
13
Epic
plus 8
healing.
is 21. 21 points of healing.
Wonderful. Oh man, that is a lot better. Wow, you are one talented little butterfly.
I can't do Riley's voice, so.
Thank you, I guess. FP, are you good? Are you like hurt, or you look great?
No, I am. Well, thank you. I feel beautiful.
Are you like a changeling and you just never told me?
Maybe I am. I have changed.
You know,
Does that
the
make me a
plots just
changeling?
Keep twisting.
It keeps twisting indeed.
Bara's like, where am I gonna put my coats?
Gonna need to
I
get
am
a
no
new
longer
shiny
a coat
thing.
rack. I am still quite shiny, and I like that. It makes me feel special.
You're one of a kind, baby.
Always
I-
have been, always will be.
I think Bara is just gonna kind of like catch her breath and wait for orders. So I will stay put here.
Okay. And Bob and Brutus are next in the initiative order. Bob is outside of the sphere
Yep.
of ugliness, so Bob is going to try and keep the machines sabotaging.
My general proximity is often described as a sphere of ugliness.
Ooh, that's a nat 20.
No.
We roll 2 tension die, and we get another complication as a third of the 5 braided steel cables that suspend the verticulator whips off and begins falling out into the distance. The whole pendant, the whole city block basically begins kind of twisting and shearing weirdly, and the stress being put on the walkways is such that the arches are starting to twist at the center that extend out to either side of this pendant as the saboteurs continue their work. Brutus, who has a layer of exhaustion, is going to... I'm just going to commit. Brutus is going to roll the save, and with disadvantage, that is a 19 or a 12. So that's a 12 on the die. 12 plus 2 is 14. Does a 14 pass?
It does not.
Okay, so that's a layer of exhaustion
Nice.
and a bunch of damage. How much?
4d10.
Dude, that's still
It's going to be 31 radiant damage and a second level of exhaustion.
Brutus, who has been like stuck in this kind of radiant sphere, just trying desperately to push this machine, goes pen and ink before finally just vaporizing off the top of the pendant there, and is just gone. There's like a little bit of bone and like charred marks on the roof, and Bob is like, Brutus, what? And he's just gone. Which brings us to Bruiser in the initiative order. Bruiser is in the cockpit of the Cugboat. You have righted things. Are you going to stay in the cockpit, or are you going down to the boiler?
Does he know if it'll stay righted or if he has to actively keep it righted?
It will stay vertical as long as no outside forces act upon it. It was just the impact of that shock wave that tipped it weird.
Then he's going to run to the boiler room to help FP.
Okay.
Radford, sorry.
Yeah.
Help Radford and FP, I guess.
He runs down to the boiler room, and he can make it to basically where Radford is. So he's in the storage room, probably right behind Radford.
Okay.
What do you want to do? Anything like take any actions or use any skills this turn, or just kind of getting down there?
Is he in there yet, or he's like right outside?
He's in the storage room. So Radford is posted up at the door, eyes locked into the boiler room, and like he's kind of ready for anything, and he's looking actively for threats in the boiler room. So you're in the storage room behind him.
Can he use like the dash action, so move and then dash to get inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
One dash is sufficient to get you inside the room. So you
then
rush past Radford and into the room.
And then being a rogue, he's going to bonus action take the dodge.
Okay.
Because he's not sure what's there.
Just as a suggestion, with your action economy, you could bonus action dash in there and use your
you're right.
Sorry. To still do
bonus
something.
action dash in, and he's going to try and assess the damage on the boiler and figure out what he has to do to fix
Go
it.
ahead and roll an intelligence-based vehicle kit check.
Okay.
Or vehicle tools.
Oh man, I sure hope you don't want me to go up there and pilot while you work on this.
Oh no.
Flashbacks.
I need you to keep an eye out for any enemies that may be down here. That's going to be an 18.
18. Okay. You are able to come up with a pretty ghetto solution, but it'll keep the ship flying and get you out of game, kind of a thing. It will take you 2 rounds to implement. So this round you've done the first part of it, but you still need another 6 seconds to get. You've like patched the thing, but now you need to secure it somehow to like make sure the wire doesn't fray or break again. You need to got to get some electrical tape on there. Some Wingle tape. I don't know. Some wing tape. You gotta put some wing tape on there, and you're ominously near you on the ground is still the unconscious Bradford Street, axe kind of scattered across the floor, and you do not see any other living creatures while you're in there besides B Street and Bradford. And that concludes your turn and brings us to the top of initiative order. Owlin, you are down on the lower tier of Gaim. On the 8th tier, I should say, as the King of Udril, Tactus the Unyielding, as Larodith, and as Randy McHale walk out and towards you. They're like, things don't seem good in the reticulators. Randy leads the conversation.
No, they do not. In fact, it seems as though 2 of the strands that are holding them vertical are
a third.
cut, gone. So I say that we take the stairs now.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's run for it. And they each pick up their piece of the machine, and they're just contributing as much as they can. The group is moving.
Yep.
as you run, civilians crowd the streets and make it a little bit more difficult to get through, but you're still able to move your move speed. You just have to be a little rude to people to get where you need to go. And among the yelling, you hear a couple cries of things like, "You brought this here. It's exactly like they told us it would be. You know, you're the reason they're attacking," and blah blah blah. As you all run past, and that is the state of things down there. Up here on the upper tier of things, FP62, you are currently on the deck of the Cugboat.
Yep, FP is going to run into the cockpit, following Radford's voice.
Down the ladder.
No, he sees B Street gone. Radford, what's going on down? Do you still need me? I don't know, man. Bruiser, do we still need FP down here?
Yes.
Okay, yes, come on down. All right, and then FP's, okay, I will come down. You're sending mixed signals, and that's making me very anxious. And so he's going to climb down and into the storeroom. What am I? Can he make an investigation check in the room there?
In the storage room?
Yeah. Oh,
Sure.
no. Well, I guess Radford's in front of the door, but
I mean, he could squeeze past. You can move through an occupied space. It just costs you double movement.
yeah. So I think he would like to investigate Bradford Street.
Okay. We're going to exit combat initiative here since we don't have any active threats that we know about, and we're going to bounce between the people on the Cugboat and the people who are running up the stairs.
Okay.
So the
22.
Okay, 22. So FP is kind of digging around in. I'm sorry. Remind me which room.
He's wanting to investigate B Street.
B Street. Okay. So you drop, and you basically are like checking B Street's body for loot. I mean, it's pretty much what the investigation equivalent is, right?
So he's also a medic and is like trained in like field medicine.
Oh, use a medicine check.
Okay. Well, I'll use that same roll then.
Yeah, we got to check for that.
Yeah. Well, not as great. 13.
13. B Street is unconscious. It appears to be blunt force trauma to the back of the head, single attack, and it doesn't look like there was a struggle based on the rest of the room. So you're pretty confident it's not like B Street was like brought within an inch of his life or whatever. He'll wake up, have a headache,
Sure.
and he'll be okay. And you're pretty confident that whoever it was got the jump on him. What you don't see is any evidence as far as like there's no fingerprints, there's no DNA. It was because it was blunt force. There's no like cut marks or anything like that. There's no scrapes that you can try and match a weapon to. There's just a big old bruise on the back of his badger head right behind one of his ears.
Does it look like his axe was used to cut the machinery? Like, are there like burn marks,
Yeah,
magical
scorch
burn
marks
marks
on
or
the
something on
axe.
the axe?
Yep, scorch marks
Okay.
on the axe indicate that it was the weapon used.
Okay. I'll just relay that to Bruiser and Radford. But we apparently have an assailant. He was hit in the back of the head. I don't think it was he that did it, unless he did it and was enslaved by an aboleth, and then somebody bonked him. But I'm not sure why they would have left. That doesn't make sense. Something in here. Although, is the boiler room a dead end?
Yes, the boiler room is a dead end. Clara, you have a hand up, but we're out of initiative order, so you can just act.
I was just gonna say, can I, since we're out of turn order, can I drag a light down for them?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm not sure how long dancing lights last, but
10 minutes.
Oh yeah, so you probably
So
got
we're
another like 8 minutes on it. That combat wasn't that long.
Yeah.
FP?
Are you kidding? It was 4 hours.
I mean,
You're
it
not
was.
wrong.
It was the best of combats. It was the worst of combats.
FP, is there something down there? Do y'all need light?
Yes, please bring light in here. As much as you
Where
can.
are you? What room? I'll try to
We're in
find
the
you.
boiler room. Just go straight down the steps and directly through the
Make a
storage room onto the
dexterity
other
save.
side.
FP, Bruiser. No, sorry, not FP and Bruiser. Just Radford. Make a dexterity save, but make it with advantage.
Oh. I rolled double 14s.
All right, you took the dodge action. That's why
that
you rolled with
is-
advantage.
Yes, any attacks against me are at disadvantage. But yeah, that's 14 plus 9, so like 23.
Yeah. You successfully dodge as from one of the recessed shadows of the storage room, a spiked chain whips towards you
Oh no!
and then vanishes in a puff of
I would-
dark smoke.
Could I use my reaction to grab it?
Hmm.
Like the deflect missiles?
So yes.
Well,
but
he dodged it, so yeah.
I was
that's
going to say
different.
yes, but he's going to burn a legendary action to succeed.
Okay.
So Radford does everything right, and then the chain that he catches poof, disappears into mist. And then, like maybe 2 seconds later, the small glowing dancing light orb enters the room in front of Clara as she's coming down the ladder.
Ara. Oh no. There's a shadow creature down here. We
What?
need light, but
The light
Like
is enough
that one
to,
that was up there that like thought my jokes were good.
the light is enough to fully illuminate the storage room. So
oh, okay, we don't need more.
I mean, you can bring a second one in to do the boiler room, but yeah, 2 of your dancing lights is sufficient to light the entire area that you are working with.
DM.
Yep.
Would Radford know that the shadow creatures have to have line of sight to teleport?
No, Radford would not know that, but
Would FP know that? Because
no,
FP has
FP
dueled them on shaky rafters.
FP has figured out that they can't teleport in light.
Right.
I don't think that you know anything about line of sight.
So Radford is trying to intuit, and FP is probably like calculating this as well as soon as he says another shadow creature's down here. That we're trying to figure out if this thing has teleported out of the room or somewhere in the room that is still shadowy.
So now that the dancing lights are in here, there is nowhere in the room that is shadowy.
Okay.
So I think just given the amount of experience that those two
Yeah.
have with them, it's reasonable to assume that it's teleported out of the room. But if you want to roll, you can roll on it.
No, I think they're going to go with an assumption on that. Clara, stick close to me. Get real close. I don't know where this thing is. I think it jumped out of the room.
Didn't we kill
But-
it already?
No, there's another one.
Oh.
It's something else. Bruiser, you gotta work quick. You gotta work
Meanwhile-
quick.
I'm going, man. I'm going.
Down at the 8th tier of Gaim, Owlin and crew are beginning to rush up the steps. They've just gotten to the first set of stairs. At the top of the steps, a mob is beginning to form and preventing access for you to get through. They're just people they're not even all angry at you. They're just people who are like, there's a battle in our city. This is the walls. These are where we run. You know what I mean? So they're not even focused on you. There's just this huge crush of people. How will you proceed?
Did the Gemstone Guardian on the lowest tier ever give us one of those cool passes that we used to have?
He did not. They were busy like fighting the
Okay.
fight down at those lower doors.
In that case, Alan is going to try to use his big stature and his fast speed to be the point man and clear a path.
Oh, like
For
just
the
kind of
rest of the
shoulder
group?
down and like bowl through.
Yeah, and just like, part the Red Sea basically. He's the tip of the spear there.
Roll athletics.
Okay.
Wash, you have a hand up. What's up?
I'd like to do a Jeb thing once you're done with this.
Okay.
25 on the athletics.
25 on the athletics. Alan is able to, it's slower than you would like, but Alan is able to start kind of shoving through the crowd and just making space. And following the suggestion of chat, the King of Udril sends his wolf into the gap right behind Alan, so that as soon as there is space for it, the wolf can get behind you. And now, like, Alan is a tall dude. Alan is 7.5 feet tall. This dire wolf can see over his shoulders on all 4 legs. And this dire wolf just kind of standing there, not quite over you, but certainly a little above eye level, is lending an air of, holy crap, there's a huge wolf here, to Alan's attempts to create space. And between the two of you, people, once they notice you, they move. Now the problem is just like, there's lots to be afraid of right now. And so it's still slow going, but it's not like you're impeded. And they make space and you're able to safely travel through. At the back of the group, so it's like a bunch of tall people, right? Like Laredith is this tall, stringy A2. There's this huge wolf. There's Owlin. Randy is a tall, for a humanoid. And then there's this dwarf King of Udril, but the sheer presence on the man, as he has the Rod of Constitution in one hand, and his other hand rests very, very gently, not on a weapon at his hip, but on a small leather notebook that's labeled spells as he walks through the crowd with you, and people just like back off. Like nobody closes the gap behind you. There's just a space left as you all kind of walk through to the other side and kind of pull you away and shove people out of the way.
Half of these people, including Gunnar, are just like carrying these pieces of a machine that are bigger than themselves. Like,
this huge, like, big metal apparatus. It's kind of trailing wires and stuff. Every now and then, the king reaches out with the Rod of Constitution and brushes a wire back in, out of the way of people's feet and stuff like that. Just keeping things going. All right, we zoom back up to the top tier of Gaim. This is going from 8 to 9 is where Alan is right now. We zoom back up to the top tier of Gaim as I add a tension die to the pool for the passage of time, and
you want Barometer to make another save, or are we not worrying about those guys?
Who's making a save?
Barometer.
Oh, yeah, let's make another save. We left initiative, but I did just kind of leave Barometer up there hanging. Actually, you know what? Barometer doesn't make it.
Okay.
Poor dude. I mean, it's just a matter of time. If he's going to stay in place, he's eventually going to get exhausted and fail. Barometer falls, rip him. And so there's just 2 saboteurs now, and probably your spell ends. What's its duration?
10 minutes.
Yeah, so probably the
But
spell
he would
ends.
end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Bart and Bob are the only 2 saboteurs left, just steadily working away at the pace of the tension die, which actually there's 6 in there, so we get to clear the tension.
And Zoff would be trying to continue to shoot them.
Okay. So just every now and then Zoff is shooting at them. So far, no hits, but they also haven't made a whole lot of forward progress. They've got the last 2 braids to work through, but Zoff is shooting close enough that they flinch or they don't push as hard as they should, and they're like half taking cover. So he's creating an obstruction for them, and they will continue to roll at disadvantage. I'm using the tension die instead of rolls, but that's a much lower percentage chance of them succeeding. So that will bring us to Jeb has a thing he wants to do.
Yeah, so Jeb is gonna land his hand up on the aft castle.
Yeah.
And like hop off, and it kind of dissipates. And Zoff, what's the status? What's like? I see bands breaking. Are they in the verticulator? What's going on?
I don't know about the state of the verticulator and the people in it, but I've got 2 of them off of it, and I'm trying to get the other 2. But now that you're here, I can get I think I can get the last 2.
Okay. I'm gonna survey down below. Can Jeb see them? Like, does he see movement? Does he see that huge wolf walking around out there?
Not yet, because they're in the walls. So they're coming up one of the staircases that's in the residential area, which is not in the open walkways. So they're in a staircase, basically a spiral staircase that's enclosed on all 4 sides, is a way of thinking of it. They've left the arches and the walkways of Gaim and moved into the residential areas along the walls. So you can't see them at the moment.
Well, would there be a way for him to see that maybe the cables running the verticulators aren't moving anymore? Like,
yes, that you could definitely see. So the verticulators
Something's
are
wrong.
not in motion.
Something's wrong. They stopped. Zoff,
You
come with
also
me.
see
And Jeb's.
You also see a glimmer of light. It's not like a single glimmer of light. It's more like a bed of stars, except you're looking down. And you just see this like weird kind of twinkling bed of stars kind of fluttering across. It starts underneath the tugboat, stretches out a little bit past the aft castle, but it goes almost the whole way, like, away from you towards the wall on the walkway, and it covers like the stacks and Malarkey Circle where the old Four Guys headquarters was and stuff, and there's just this huge kind of floating starry carpet thing.
That covers the ground?
Well, I mean, from where you are, it looks like you're looking down at a sky full of stars.
So it's like a carpet that that emanates away. What the? Can I make an Arcana check to see if I can figure out what the heck that thing is?
You sure can.
And Zoff will make an Arcana check.
You sure can.
26.
Non-natural 20.
Okay, between the 2 of you, you're like up there comparing notes on it, kind of like squinting down at it and trying to figure out what it is.
It could be, but like
And
it just rolled out of nowhere.
Oh no! I think it's this.
You're pretty sure that they are. It's not like actual stars, and it's not like a carpet. It's like individual little motes of something, and they're not moving like a river. They're kind of like suspended in place. It's like a field of something has been replaced or been released into the air, and it's kind of like carpeting is, I guess, the best verb for how it has landed across the 10th tier of Gaim.
Maybe they're like mines or something.
No. What color are they?
They are a soft blue, and they don't look like any spell that you've seen, like the effects of any spell that you've seen, I should say.
We got to get out of here. I have no idea what. We still got like dragons up atop that we need to get through. Like, this is taking way too long.
Only been like 5 minutes.
That's 5 minutes too much. Dang it.
Alright, if you get me a little bit closer, I can cast the same spell again and hopefully get rid of these two.
We cut back
I don't
down
care about these
to-
guys.
We cut back down to Alan and company, who have made it up to the 9th tier of Gaim, just to be greeted by basically the same thing but more. If we recall, the way that wealth is distributed in Gaim is the poorer people are closer to the top, and so there are more of them. And so the density of people is such that it's really difficult to make any headway, even with a huge wolf behind you. People are like, well, there's one wolf here, or there's an army attacking us out there. And so the crowd is just kind of packed in place. And you do hear a handful of people who are like, oh, it's 4 guys, they're the bad guys. But you also hear a couple people who are like, no, I was there in Udra. Like, I know, and so that both sides are represented in the mob. And Alan, you are pushing against this as you see the same kind of strange, like blue little motes or whatever they are kind of flutter down. They come down the stairs towards you along with a crowd of people. There's a bunch of people from the 10th tier of Gaim who are coming down to the 9th tier, pushing down the spiral staircase towards you. And they seem to be, centered is the wrong word because it's so big. But there's, they are within the cloud of little motes or little soft blue somethings.
Interesting. Do they bear any familiarity to the myconid spores or fungus spores from the Underdark?
They bear a striking resemblance to the myconid spores from the Underdark. And that's not the only resemblance you notice as you begin to recognize many of the blacksmiths and laborers from the stacks, which is the area where the old 4 Guys headquarters was, where the myconid quelled a bit of a gang war, and created a bit of a safe haven for all the craftspeople. And now you watch as those same craftspeople with their strengthened, blacksmith's arms and their crowbars and their reinforced steel tools come down and begin creating a path for you, pushing people to the side, and creating this walkway where it's not like before where you had just enough room to maneuver. It's it's like they have made you enough space, and as they kind of come to get you, you fall into the cloud of spores, and you can hear the myconid's calm voice directing probably upwards of 70 or 80 people. With just calm, aloof, kind of emotionless directions, maneuvering them, and everyone else seems to have the same kind of calm, flat affect that you're used to from where it's not like
This
a
is
mind control. They're present, but it's like they're just all very calm and understood. They make this space and lead you to the stairs and up the stairs, and in the middle of their number, you see the myconid, except he's like, I don't know, 1.5 feet taller.
He's sovereign now.
He's growing into a sovereign myconid, and so his little mushroom cap has started to turn upwards and grow more like tree bark, is kind of covering it and creating a little bit of natural armor for him. His little hands have gone from little 3-fingered kind of mitts to these more claw-like, 4-digit appendages, and he's developing a little bit of a mouth crease, in the bark of his face. His spots are deepening in color, so instead of the kind of bioluminescent green that he was before, he's now more of an olive-toned color. And he's just sitting cross-legged in the middle of this group. A couple of them are holding him up and carrying him. They're holding him by the elbows, which he has kind of locked in like a Buddha prayer growth type thing. And as the group leads him and you up to the 10th tier of Gaim, you see in the distance the final attacks from Zopf kind of shooting at and towards the people who are trying to cut this cable. I'm going to clear a full tension pool of 6 to see if they succeed in the time that remains before you get to the Cug boat. We'll see.
Oh my gosh.
That's 3 complications, and there are only 2 braids left. And so
No.
as you and the rest of your party are loading onto the Cug boat and your machinery is being safely brought up, Bruiser, deftly maneuvers the ship down towards you. You get the machine brought on, the different pieces of it. Randy is rushing around the ship trying to make sure that, all of his tools are there and the things he'll need to help put it together on the other end. Laredith has her notes. She's kind of spreading them out and getting everything, below deck settled. The only remaining loose end here is what are Radford and Bradford Street and FP doing in the boiler room. Bruiser, I'm sorry, I just exposited you back into the cockpit to bring the ship.
That's
up to
fine.
meet them.
As long as it's fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, you did fix it. So
Okay.
now the question is just, what about the shadow?
FP has stabilized and healed B Street.
Okay.
He gets 19 hit points.
Okay. 19 hit points is a pretty good amount. He still has a bit of a headache, but he's alert and present and stuff.
Yeah, it's not magical healing. So this is like wrapping up his wound
Got
and
it.
kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
smelling salts him and getting him to it. B Street, what is? Are you okay?
I think
Radford,
so.
come
I
here.
think
He's
so.
coming
It's
too.
just I just have it's like a bruise. Am I bleeding or anything from back here? And he kind of turns his
You
head
were.
and shows you the spot.
I've patched you up.
Oh,
You're okay.
thank you.
You're okay.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know. I was down here. I was waiting for Bruiser to tell me it was time to bring the ship down and pick up our friends, and then I don't remember. Then I was here and you were helping me, and I had this headache.
Okay. Well, let me sit back here against this shelf and
The only
just
thing that
just
I can
take
remember is I heard
rest.
like a scraping sound, I think, but not from in here. From like through the hull. You know how like it creaks or whatever, and I just thought it was something like that.
Okay, that is good. Thank you.
Yeah.
We are going to. There is something dangerous here, and he puts his axe in his hand. Be vigilant. There is a shadowy creature. If you see it, call
Okay.
very loudly.
Are these lights gonna stay on? He points up at the lights.
They should stay here for the time being.
Okay. Yep. I'll watch this time. I'll watch better. And he arranges himself so his back is to the flat wall, like the dead end wall, and his axe is in his hands.
Very good. Be mindful of shadows. These things can teleport into darkness. This light is bright enough, it should be okay, but that is what you're going to look for, should the light happen to go out.
Okay.
Radford, we must sweep this ship. I'm here with you, buddy. I guess we gotta go to the back and sweep our way forward. We might need to look at those fins on the side, too. If he said it was scratching, it could be climbing or attached to the outside of the ship, waiting to warp back in. This is really bad. I agree. And they're going to both exit and start sweeping the ship, looking for this creature.
Okay.
I'll send some lights with you. They got a couple minutes left, maybe.
That's going to take a while to do. So the question now is, will the party hold their takeoff until this is done, or are you leaving as soon as possible and just sweeping as you go?
I do not recommend that.
Do not recommend what?
I do not recommend holding. We need to get out.
Yes. Yeah. Alan
Oh,
will.
yeah.
Alan will urge that. Like, we can deal with one shadow creature. Like, we need to go.
Yeah, the
Bruiser
distant
will
sounds of the
leave as
dragons
soon as-
fighting above keeps it fresh in your mind that like this attack isn't over just because your part has ended.
Yep. We're going.
Bruiser's taking off as soon as he's given the order to.
Okay. And so the ship is going to navigate upwards. Bruiser, go ahead and make a vehicle driving check for me, or a pilot check.
Will do. Ooh, not great. Sorry. A little bit better. Okay. 6 plus 8 is 14.
14. All right. It's difficult because you're under so much pressure and the weight distribution is a little bit different, but even if it's not quite your cleanest exit, you don't hit anything on the way out. You know what I mean? It does a little wobbling and rolling as you figure out where, all this new machinery that Randy brought on board, and of course he's not thinking about proper weight distribution for shipping. He just wants a clean
Who would?
workspace. So of course he's cramming all the weight to one side of the room, and anyway, as you're adjusting and you're fixing and compensating, the tugboat slowly but surely kind of rotates in place. The anchor is disengaged by Mockery, who rides it back up as the chain pulls it in, does a cool little flip off of it and onto one of the stabilizers of the tugboat, and stays out there for a little while to check the fins, on behalf of Radford, basically. So she's assisting by looking at the outside stabilizers on one side of the ship. She does not see anything. The anchor finishes with a loud kind of metallic clang as it slams into place on the hull, and the tugboat begins zooming upwards. As you're really giving the thrusters some more juice, this thing starts to really take off and use some speed, and you kind of rocket out of the skylights that they've widened, this landing pad access, kind of zoom out of there and into the night sky. And so as you come into the night sky, suddenly the sounds of the draconic fights get louder and more present. You hear the sounds of the wings rushing and the shrieks of dragons battling each other every time. You see this huge talon slash through a shadow dragon and bits of limbo energy fly off of it to the side. You make it probably 30 to 40 feet out before you see another dragon swoop in from the side and slam into the friendly dragon, and it kind of knocks it off course. No one is able to, in the chaos of this air battle, no one is able to spare you the attention to escort you out. And so Bruiser is having to kind of weave and dodge and dip and zip around as he's doing his thing. And just as you come out the top of this fight, basically on the other end of this asteroid field, so to speak, of foes and friends, just as you emerge from that and you start to level out, as you're approaching the cloud cover, you see painted all black in the distance another airship. And standing on the deck, you see somebody tip a top hat at you, and then the orange glow of a cipher get activated, and a huge ball of darkened energy, almost pure blackness, appears around your ship, and all the ciphers go black.
Counterspell.
And on that note, counterspell. You counterspell. Counterspell's a roll, right?
Depends on the level.
It depends on the level. This is my first time doing
abjuration.
this. 8th level
Counterspell,
abjuration.
You attempt to interrupt a creature. If the creature is casting 3rd level or lower, it fails and has no effect. If 4th level or higher, make an ability check using your casting ability. DC is 10 plus the spell's level. On a success, the creature spell fails and has no effect. So you need to beat a DC 18 with your spell modifier.
All right. I am going to burn my
Jeb?
6th.
Is this
Yes.
Jeb casting it?
Yeah, this is his first counterspell. He's going to burn a 6th level spell shell.
Okay.
So as he sees that, he quickly contingency slots this shell into the blunderbuss, cranks it all up, boom, and almost shoots it like a mortar. That's going to be. It was 10 plus the spell level, so that's right.
Yes. 10
That's
plus
the
the
DC.
spell level. DC 18.
The DC.
spell modifier.
18, but I can
Hang on.
upcast
Chat
mine.
Chat is rolling for one of the players. So your upcast has to do with if they try to counterspell you back. Or the spell slot of 4th level or higher, interrupted spell has no effect if its level is less than or equal to the level of your spell slot used. So at 6th level, it's still not high enough to stop the 8th level, but if they counterspell you back, then it would, the 6th level would be what they're rolling against instead of 3rd level like the spell. The chat has rolled on your behalf. Do you want to change the level you're casting at?
I don't know what the chat has rolled.
Well,
You
their
know
roll
what?
would come after you made this decision.
Okay. Will casting it at 6th level help?
Yeah,
I don't. Okay.
it'll help if they try and counterspell you back, which I'll warn you they will.
Zop also has counterspell.
I will. No, I will I will go ahead and counterspell at 6th level.
Counterspell at 6th level. Jeb sees this happen, and in the kind of speed that only a chronomancer can achieve, he rips out his gun. He's already like got the spell, the shell, I should say, ripped off his bandolier and locked in place. He takes aim. He sees the kind of energy field whipping towards. He takes aim. He fires. You got a 12 on the die plus your spell casting modifier with a DC of 18.
He has a +8
He has a plus
spellcasting
8
modifier.
for a dirty 20. With a dirty 20, you see your aim is perfect. You can see the shell is lined up. When you see on the other airship a cannon and another counterspell gets launched towards you. I'm going
Would Zoff
to
be able to counterspell
Except-
that
He
counterspell?
can. We'll roll to see if it succeeds or not. Yeah?
Okay. I was going to say, except a bolt falls loose on the cannon and it drops to the deck and
Ooh.
fires straight down. What a very unlucky thing to happen as Jeb uses his last bit of luck from the Rod of Luck today.
Does the Rod of Luck create critical fails or just failures? I don't remember. Because if it's crit fails, then I'll let you shoot it at the deck. But if it's just a failure, they're not going to take out their own ship.
Well, it's not in that anti-magic thing. It was just a counterspell. I was just for like negating the counterspell.
I got you. Yeah, you're right.
It just says Oh, I'm sorry. No, I can't. They have to be within 30 feet of me.
Oh shoot. Okay.
So I could do it to myself, but I can't do this to them.
I see. Okay, so their roll.
So they need to roll for this counterspell.
You cast it at level 6, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the DC is 10 plus 6, and the die is a 16.
Ooh.
So, so their counterspell is on track, rushing towards. I heard Zopf say, "Put me in there."
Yep. Zoff also has
Put me in,
counterspell.
coach.
Okay.
But it's only at
Barry
5th level.
also has counterspell.
Berry, Countess Berry.
So Zopp's casting it, trying to counterspell their counterspell at Zopp's casting at 5th level.
Okay. Their spell is at 6th level, so the DC to beat is 16.
Okay. Zopp has a +9.
I'm feeling good.
Don't.
I'm
Uh-oh.
feeling lucky because Zop
Wash
is
like,
probably
"You're
within 30 feet
of me."
Yes.
Yep.
So is
And
that just a reroll?
So Jeb sees it go back and forth, and then it comes to us, and then Zop sends his spell off. What does it look like when you do counterspell?
What does the cast look like for you?
Yeah, so he kind of summons like a mini like version of Andromeda, and it's like breathing. What is her breath weapon?
Her breath weapon is like a purple haze almost.
Okay, so it's like a purple haze that shoots out in this mist and dissipates as it goes, like spreading out.
And so a little breeze kind of blows the right direction and carries it on to exactly where it needs to go on its target. And I would like to use the last charge of the Rod of Luck to force that to succeed.
And as
Yeah.
as 3 counter spells and an anti-magic field slam into each other, maybe 3 feet, 4 feet from the Cugboat, right? Because they had the jump on you with the first attack, and then it's just counterspell after counterspell trying to keep this thing running. The anti-magic field fizzles out, and you rocket away. You're at full thrust at this point. Rocket away, easily out of pace of any pursuing craft, which would need to like activate rockets and build up momentum to catch up with you. And as you leave, you hear the voice of Sir Topham Sav yell after you, "You've got my spike." And it kind of echoes out into the night as you fly away. And on that note, which is completely different from the note I thought we were ending on, so good work, everybody. On that note, tonight's Dungeons & Dragons session comes to a close.